caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama face. Yeah, I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama face. Yeah.
Bro, I think you should talk this time. Don't get shy now, bro.
I know. So
no, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, man.
Yeah.
You know, today we sponsored by Sky. She covered her shit up though. You know what I'm saying? Freaky might be mad at you. We're sponsored by Skyline Bullies. You know what I'm saying? Skyline Bullies. They got. I don't really mess with dogs, but
they have exotic bullies. Yeah. The little. What's them?
The micros, but they got some amazing dogs. My man Rome got one, man. I said, damn.
Yes.
I might need a dog. After I seen him, he got a Merle.
No shade to them, but no, that's not where we got our dogs from. But it's kind of like the same line, though.
What you mean?
Like when everyone sees my dad's dog, or my they always ask me where we get him from. So I'm saying that's not where we got them from, because they have the same breed.
Yeah, but Skyline Bullies, check them out.
But that's where you could get them from.
Yeah, that's where you can get them from. You ain't getting no discount either, though. Pay full price like you pay, the other people. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, holla at Skyline Bullies on Instagram and tell them I sent you. You might get 1% off.
But Dad, if you need a girl, tell them you my dad. They better give you a percentage off.
Okay, let's get into it. I didn't want to really write too much stuff down. Today's guest, I kind of wanted to let him speak, but I seen him on the news. Ro knows him personally.
Yes.
He was incarcerated 32 years.
32 straight years.
Yeah, 32 straight years. Wrongful conviction.
Yes.
Overturned his case. He fought hard. Oh, I'm sorry. Make sure your phones is off, please. Yeah, but 32 straight years. He fought hard. He finally, came home to 2019, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, 2019. Now he's out here fighting for other innocent men, women, and maybe even children.
Right.
But yeah, we got Darrell Jones in the building.
Hey,
Welcome, Darrell.
Welcome.
Hey, here with Ro. It's a good gesture.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome home. I've always said that, but we have to keep saying
welcome
it.
home.
2019, it was not long ago, right?
Jumping on planes.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So you and I had went down to down south together to do some work on wrongful conviction, incarceration, and things like that.
For women.
Yes, for women, right?
Women.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got to link, and it was dope because when we linked, we also
Down
got
south
to,
where?
Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay. What was y'all doing down there? That's when you had that little trip you did, and did you take Kiki to that one?
No,
Okay.
that was after that. But we had linked.
Cassandra
It was
as well.
yes,
You,
Cassandra from Mass.
But it was the women's
Massachusetts.
conference.
Right. It was a women's conference for formerly incarcerated women.
Andrea.
Right. Yeah. And then I met Darrell there.
Yeah.
And I met a lot of amazing women too who were wrongfully convicted or were doing time on doing life bid on conspiracy charges for just not telling on their boyfriends and things like that.
Yeah.
So it was dope. And me and Darrell linked off rip. It was crazy how we connected. But then we later on found out that we knew a lot of people.
Same people.
And family members who was also locked up with Darrell. And
Who's family member? Yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
So instantly we became just
Yeah, we vibe. We got to do a lot of things. We hit the State House together. When me and Romelda hit anything together,
y'all made noise.
That's a lot of energy for some folks, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Primarily on her own or on my own, but we'll get into that. But we come with a different vibe. So I love when we get to vibe because it's been a while, this COVID and all that. But when we get to vibe, we get to tell our truths. We get to do it without the national anthem behind it. We don't have to bullshit. We don't have to make up nothing. We don't have to sing a song while we doing it. We just tell you the shit. That's the way. There's no commercial. There's no ad. It's just boom. They bombing.
Okay, so you unfiltered like her.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how we met.
I'm just saying because
I think
she's unfiltered.
No, that's how we met.
Sometimes she can't control it.
No, that's exactly how we met. But I also think that unfiltered doesn't mean not filtering the bad.
Right.
So you know what I mean? We've got water filters and things like that. So I filter the bad from the good,
Right.
but I don't allow the good to have the appearance that it appeared in a robe and it's going to be weak.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good has to fight back, no
Right.
matter how you do it. Look at the Ukraine situation, right? They're good people, but now the citizens themselves that never thought in their lives they're ever going to be in that situation, they're out there trying to save their lives. You feel me? So I fight back in that form, like she does. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Under press.
Oh, you finally taking the jacket off? Because I'm like, God
It's
damn, is it
hot.
winter time? I'm like, shit, what's going on? Oh, you sick? We might have had to give you a COVID test or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
No more
you
COVID
all right?
for me.
Using my mask.
yeah. You sure?
Nah, I'm
okay.
good.
Okay, I'm just saying. Cause
We just getting comfortable.
it's
that's
like
all.
60 degrees outside. You got a winter jacket and a hoodie on.
We just getting comfortable.
Okay,
That's all.
all right. Okay, making sure. Yeah, so
Yeah, but that's how we started, And I remember with Darrell, to get on how we even were talking about, we met at the State House, so I knew about a little bit about his story and things like that. But then during that conference, we were on a panel, and probation from other states were on that panel. And I remember I stood up when the woman was like, "Oh, sometimes we save y'all by putting you in jail," and I stood up like, "You didn't save me," you know what I mean? And then we got into it.
who said that?
The probation, the lady was a probation officer.
Yeah.
So
She said sometimes.
Remember
we
that?
say-
I
Yeah.
have that video though. Actually,
Yeah.
I have that video.
that video
But I
kind of
don't
went viral.
remember-
Like,
This
I
is-
remember
this
you
is a white woman?
responded, and I
Yeah.
was like,
No, she was a black woman.
black woman.
Oh,
a
man.
black sister. She
We'll
was
have to
like
get
from
them
like
that exclusive
Louisiana.
Video. I have that video because
Yeah.
you had jumped up, and I actually have the pictures.
Yeah.
You know me, I jumped out with this camera, and I just took a picture of everything. That's why I can't add no photos. I can't move. I got like 5,000 videos. I'm keeping all that, so I got that moment. That's a good one.
Yeah, and that's when I
remember
I stood up. I was like, "Hold on, you didn't save me." And she looked, and she was like, and I had to explain to her like, you know what I mean? Like, what can you call saving in like different situations? And like someone like me at a very young age going into the incarcerated system, what I witnessed and the things that I see, I didn't see that at home. You know what I mean? I saw other things, but it was just like, what did you save me from? You put me more in harm's way, and a lot of people don't get to know that. And then like a lot of the women in the room stood up and like spoke to that. So at the end of that, the probation lady, needless to say, came down, gave me a hug, and told me that I opened up their eyes to a lot of things. Yeah. And Darrell spoke up, and he was on the same way as me. I'm like, yo, I like his energy. That's dope. Because it's like you said, a lot of people might think that we come off aggressive, but we're passionate because we lived it. It's what happened to us.
Right. So, go ahead.
Well,
Darrell.
no. I was gonna. Sorry about that.
No,
call.
no.
That's actually an important call.
It's all okay. I feel special, man.
Shout out to Rashawn Hall running. We'll discuss
Right,
that,
yeah.
but that's actually an important call for me.
Okay.
But nonetheless, I just feel like the unity when we met up, the end result of that is that our unity was just a great thing. And in that moment, it was a good moment because there were different classes and there were different people coming. Right? There were different people. There were women from everywhere. Yeah. And then there were different groups and sessions, being run. Right. And in each one of those, there was a different experience. And in that experience, you got to see where the other person was coming from. Even though she was representing as though something good she's doing for blacks, she did not understand the matter itself.
Yeah.
So us being there provided an opportunity to say, nah, here's a real life version of what you read about or talking about, or you're running the jail.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You can go right now to Louis Vuitton, and if you work your way up the ladder, you'll be manager. You know what I mean? You'll make it to manager, but you're just managing the store. You ain't got nothing to do with Louis' product. You ain't making it. If they told you to put that purse together, it's a wrap, right? So that's the same way this thing is designed. You know what I mean? That's the way it's designed, and it's good. That's what I wanted her to know from that. Like, it was good, because when you jumped up, of course, to everybody else, that's what they consider us outspoken about, because you addressed it. But you addressed it, I guarantee you, she learned something from that, because it was a big moment. Remember, other people got up. It was
I hope she learned.
No, she did.
Nah, she did.
She
It was
came up
evident.
after.
They think they punish. I said it before. Punish. That's all they do. They don't get to the root of the problem. They can't. It's hard for them to understand. They can't relate. They're not from the inner city.
But for
most
me,
of
is
them.
when they put people in that position, in certain positions, like he said, in order to make change, lived experience is most important. You could be a person of color and you could come from Dorchester, but we could have lived two different lifestyles. And you can't tell me about certain things. And this is where we get messed up at. So I remember also, this is after we done met up and, joined forces and all that and did a lot of work that we
Y'all
could
was
talk
riding
about.
out.
Yeah, well, we was putting in work.
No, we was riding
We
out.
was knocking down state house doors, all that, and it was dope. But I remember they invited me to speak at a, it wasn't, whatever it was, a rally or a conference, and it was in Boston at City Hall. And then we marched to...
that wasn't when you was with the commission and all of them.
Nah.
Okay.
So
I
we
remember
had
that
walked.
day.
We went to we had walked to Northeastern, and it was like thousands of people out there, and they had gave me the mic, and there was I remember they wanted me to speak because of my experiences and things like that, and whatever. And at the moment, I was like, yeah, I got on the mic, and I remember saying like, yeah, I could speak on all of this, but what about somebody who did at the time? I'm like, somebody who did almost more, no, not almost, but more than half of my age, and I just gave Darrell the mic, and I remember like you had the crowd moving when you spoke.
That's amazing.
I wanted to say, bro, if I could, that
Go ahead, you can say
I'm
anything.
never going to leave on the table that they don't know us, right? So I kind of picked up on that while I was away, and when that door closed at night, you think upon things you wouldn't think you would think upon, and I did.
I know.
And I realized, from the Willie Lynch papers, and I advise people to really go pay attention
Talk to the mic.
Really pay attention to the Willie Lynch papers, right? Because the Willie Lynch papers is the design on how we were going to trap us up, what we were going to go through in the result of them trapping us up. And if you pay attention to that, I never want to give them the benefit of saying, hey, you know what, they don't know where we come from and what we go through when you're the creator of where we're coming from and what we're going through.
Right.
From bringing crack into the area to building projects. You see what I'm saying? You're the creator of that.
Right.
You created the experience.
Right.
You don't want to be reminded.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would rather say don't know means you're excluded. I'd rather say they don't want to be reminded. That's what the difficulty's about. We're bringing something up.
They don't want to. They don't want you to throw their shit on their doorstep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right.
They're like, oh hell no, we didn't do that.
That's so true. Because if we on the piano talking about something, we do got gang members and they do need to be arrested, it'd be a whole separate conversation. But when we're like, well, he's a gang member because X, Y, Z, that's true. That's when they don't really want to hear it.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Nobody
That's
wants
true,
to
Darrell.
take accountability.
At
But
all.
give us the backstory, Darrell. Like, where you from originally?
Well, I'm originally from Chicago,
Okay.
right? So as like everyone, my family migrating from Mississippi,
Okay.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee, and so on, and coming to Chicago, like most black folks.
Right.
So, transferred here, and during that transfer, say
What year was that?
back and forth. So, man, it's early because I done been back and forth, you know what I mean? 70, and, my family's back and forth just like now,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So my grandmother was alive. May she rest in peace.
Rest in
she's the
peace to grandma.
hierarchy, and we
Yeah.
came this way.
Right.
And, for better, quieter, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? A change, whatever it was about. I'm a kid, you know what I mean? But whatever
So
it's about.
Chicago was wild back then too.
But of course, the environment is
environment,
wild.
the environment.
Chicago's not wild
Yeah.
because, my grandmother or say her sisters, my cousins, I got a lot of cousins that, are in prison and mixed in that whole thing. And, from GDs to Vice Lords on down, originals, right? You know what I mean? Shout out to Ernest, some of my oldest up there. And, growing up under them. But it was just that change, you know what I mean? Grandmother making the decision like this ain't gonna work out. Whatever reason they have to do it. I'm a kid, I got no say in
They
that.
need a change.
But
Boston was a change.
the change is here, you know what I mean? Plus my father's here. So, my father's actually Portuguese Cape Verdean.
Okay.
So a lot of people, they just see me as
Oh,
black,
okay,
and my grandmother is actually Blackfeet Indian, so I'm Indian. You know what I mean? So when you see me and you see the nose or you see different things, you probably always see me with a hat or various ways until you see my hair or you really pay attention.
Right.
But those are the two cultures for me. So culturally coming here, you know what I mean? I was learning Boston, I'm in New York, but we're back and forth here in Boston, Philadelphia. Those my family's at.
Philly, okay.
In Philly, so we're always in Philly, like that was an everyday thing back then. You got to remember, I went to prison, man. 18, I'm gone.
Right, 18.
So
That's crazy.
as far as a life, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not much. There's growing up. So in between that time, often people ask me, like, what did you do when you were younger? You have to understand the shock. You have to understand the shock I bring up this Ukraine thing because it's relevant. You have to understand the shock of the first time that they're getting a cluster bomb versus another bomb. But if you don't know what a cluster bomb is, you won't know the difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was a cluster bomb in my life. So a lot of shit that might have happened when I was younger is wiped out. Believe it or not, like the trauma is much. You know, you have your own trauma in your youth, things are going on, and then you transfer to a trauma that you ain't even expecting. Too much is going on. So I'm in survival mode from 18 to 52, you feel me? So I have to focus on that. So my life is really trapped in there. My youth is in there. My growing up is in there because it's forced upon you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a total different atmosphere in my mind.
You kind of erased, not you, but your mind kind of erased
Itself.
a lot of childhood things.
Yeah, because a lot of childhood stuff is trauma too. You know what I mean? It's what you come from. So you have to know my background, but that's trauma too. You know, it's good times because it's my grandmother. You know, there's a good guider, right? But it's still, you know, what you want to consider to be the hood, the ghetto, whatever it is. At that time, man, I'm different places, man. I'm on Bowdoin, you know what I mean? I'm in Hyde Park, you feel me? In Franklin Hill, you know what I mean? Different places. I'm everywhere. We wasn't, separated. We're everywhere, and I'm living damn near everywhere.
So when people ask you, would you consider yourself from Chicago or Boston? Or
I hate to say it, man.
I see you got the B hat on.
I ask myself that, right? These are representations of what I feel.
Right.
See, that's the thing. In prison, I can't throw the B on. You might see some prison pictures of me, but you ain't gonna be seeing me just with the B on. Right. So that I own that. That's my representation. When we talk about territorial things, I really do believe in that. It ain't where you're from, it's where you at. Yeah, so whoever mentally, wherever they located at, and they on the page I'm on, I'm really trying to get on that page. But I don't have time for limits. Right. It's gone too long.
No
for
limits.
That. You know what I mean? So, but if I had to honestly say where I'm from, this would make sense to me, but maybe not to many others. But if you add it up and you go, I got 32 years in prison and I was 18, 35 total, you understand, with these people, and I was 18 when I went away, not even in culture mode till I'm 12, let's just say, right? That I know this is how it's really going down. In that time span, I don't count that because I'm more from prison than I'd be from anywhere.
Right.
You feel me? That's where I'm from.
So you did, 3 years in juvenile or something like that? Because you said 35 years altogether?
No, 35 years altogether because
of 3 years you've been home.
Right. But the time I was home, not because of 3 years I was home, the time that I came home, I wasn't out. You know what I mean? Like Stephen Pina right now. You're not out. It's a few brothers that get out. Yeah. You understand that? But you got these bracelets on. I didn't have none of that because my thing was clear. But these guys got bracelet on and different things. Right. So you're out, but you're still fighting them.
Right.
But there's enough to say we'll bail you or we'll
bail you, but you're still fighting.
But you're still fighting this case. But we see enough to say, you got a good record in prison and move it on.
So we talked about Boston, talked about coming from the South, going to Chicago, and then relocating to here and stuff. But then, take us to, now we're talking 18. You get picked up for a murder case that you later on now in 2019 were released because obviously you were wrongly convicted. And the case actually wasn't in Boston. It was in Brockton. Right. So take us to that. Like, how did you get to Brockton? Take us to Boston at that time because this was 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yes.
Okay, so it's almost like when Cape Verdeans became acknowledgeable to blacks. Let's just say, although it's all Angola's black. Yeah. But the women were different groups of women in Brockton. It was a different area. So it was just like leaving Boston and going to Providence. You know what I mean? Back then, and they would have the shows, Fat Boys or somebody do the Fresh Fest or something. Okay. Yeah, it's like getting on that bus. You see them saying those real memories.
The Bat Bus?
You know what I mean? Getting on that bus, man, and headed out there, and you're out in Providence or whatever you're doing. It's the same thing.
Oh, in Providence, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's the same form of entertainment, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's the same form.
So you would go out there for entertainment, party life?
Yeah, I was trying to shorten it because my mind actually knows a whole bunch of reasons, but they would all equal out, honestly, and I think I could say this because it's the truth, but it was all equaled out to girls. Girls were in Brockton, so at that time I'm Diamond, I'm in Brockton.
Okay, makes sense.
You understand that?
Yeah,
so
no, it makes
that was
sense
my
because
MO. You know,
You're 18. This is what happens.
You need a new environment. Sometimes people like, yo, there's a bunch of girls in this city or this town, and then you be like, let's go, because it's new faces, new things. They don't know you. It's whatever.
And you're young, so you make a reputation. And at that time, you know, the rap industry thing was going. And shout out to Mantronics and my bro Big Chuck, because during that time we would come into the, you know, those shows. You know, you'd be over there. Things would happen, and at the Roseland Ballroom, it was a Brockton thing. You know what I mean? They were like, go up, Diamond. You know what I mean? At that time, known as that, because I was rapping all the time. And I went up, and I just rapped or whatever, and Mantronics actually gave me this contract. Like, they started working it out, and that's when Mantronics was Mantronics. But see, you're self-arrogant of, like, girls and your own flash, and you coming from something. If you don't know yourself, I didn't know. I just know, like, these representation of things mean I'm in there. Right. You know, basically ripped that up and was like, nah, I don't want to be no rapper. And then this fall upon me. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. This fall upon me. So it was reputation, because I had reputation. And someone could formulate that.
Right? This is important because even though this happened, again, over 30-something years ago, these are also things that are still happening today, right? And it happened in my generation. Like, we all know someone who went to Providence to go party and meet new girls or hang with a group of girls, and something happened, and they ended up getting caught up for something that had nothing to do with them, just wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
But there's intention, right? There's intention. In this instance, like, I was trying to make a case of representation. So often now what I find in myself when I'm speaking, before that thing about we just let go, where people interpret, I do just let go. But what I do is I realize that the catalog for what I feel about a moment or what I suffered is a lot in my mind. So it's almost like when someone's on their computer, the DJ, and you see now everything's computer, and he's got all this list of songs or whatever. My mind is actually doing that in dialogue, because there's a whole bunch of things that go on. The time works differently for me. You know what I mean? I want people to really be conscious of that. The time in my mind works differently. I don't have as much time to give away. Right. You see what I'm saying? So it is important to me.
Time is very important.
You know what I mean? It's the value.
And that's why I appreciate you coming to sit with us. Definitely. Absolutely.
With us. So 1985. Like Rose said, there's a lot of people that go through these type of things, and you know, some people be like, man, everybody say they innocent. You know what I'm saying? Everybody say this. And I'm like, yo, how you know this person's not innocent? Because we do know a lot of people that got convicted or arrested for things they did not do. Right. Because, you know, they got to get some numbers, or they got to get somebody for this crime. A lot of, you know, pressure maybe.
And honestly, the officials don't care as long as somebody's locked up. They don't care.
It's very easy to arrest the wrong person, but it's very hard to let the right person out. Right. Like, you arrested the wrong person, and you're making it hard for this person to get out. You know what I'm saying?
But it's like, Darrell said, it's hard for them to admit that they're wrong. You know what I mean? And I see that with your case. I see that with many cases. Like, even though, like, okay, all this is coming out, the judge is like, okay, we have the wrong person. And the police in the case are like, no, but we knew back in 1980. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, you know what, we had it wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's none of that. So
there's no accountability.
Yeah, but it's a myth, right? And I want to be clear about this, right? It's a myth. So the myth is thinking, even for a moment, that we can exclude the idea of they all say they're innocent. You have to start changing the philosophy of that, right? Because that is not really what's happening in prison. Out here, that's just the philosophy. It actually stops a lot of innocent men from their campaign to get out of here. Right. Because when you're really trying to have a campaign and you're the one that's pushing it out, people are hitting you with, like, they're not even looking. If I put me on Facebook, you didn't know me before that, although I was campaigning and in paper and trying to get out of prison.
Right.
There was no such podcast pulling up outside the prison like, yo, Darrell Jones is in there, brother Ricky McGee is in there, Fuquan is in there. You know, shout out to my brother Fuquan. We want home now. But no one's out there doing that. Right. You know what I mean? No one was doing that for me. So it's not everyone in there saying that. You know the difference. When you're really innocent on something like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. Like, the street know like you know.
You're right.
Right, absolutely.
I know it don't matter what the DA know.
Right.
The streets know.
Knowing, like, that person didn't do it.
It doesn't matter what the DA, prosecution, or nobody else knows, right? Yeah. What it is the streets know.
The community know.
I'm in the joint with you, and we sitting around, I don't got to tell you that. And that means your girl know and the neighborhood know.
Right.
Right? We under our code. You know what I mean? And eventually, somehow in life, maybe one day I know. You see what I'm saying? But our code is like, I'm not the police. My job is not to go get you.
Yeah.
Right.
Their job was to investigate for you.
Right.
You understand that? And their job was not done. It was done to me. They didn't do the job. They did me.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference in that.
But this, hold on,
Yeah,
because
like,
and we're gonna go back to again.
Everybody,
the
I just
charge.
want to be clear. Everyone is not in there saying that. You got, it's the
e-
joint. You
everyone's
got
not-
cats that
no,
got
but
their
they
bids.
would tell you that. Everyone says they're innocent. You know
Right, that's
I'm
what I
saying?
mean. And in
they
order
would
to
say
change that
and it's like,
philosophy,
what are you talking about?
we
Like,
have to counter that.
Yeah.
We have to let people know, like I'm letting you know now, people in prison are not just running around saying I'm innocent.
Right.
In fact, the guys that know they're not innocent, they identify us quicker.
Yeah.
They know, like, you ain't in here for like I'm in here.
Right.
We know it's the
Right.
place you're living. So 32
Definitely.
years, I'm not living in the dark. So everyone is not in there saying that. So
Yeah,
please pay
like,
attention to those that are trying to say that.
But
from
here's
prison
something you taught
until
me.
you can conclude that they might not be or whatever you don't want to help.
But don't just exclude
Right.
these brothers
At
or
all.
these women.
And this
you
is
know what I'm
something
saying?
that you taught
Read
me.
their post.
Because I said that before in at the State House when I was like, shoot, I did everything that's on that paper, right? And except for my last case, that I was innocent, but y'all don't want to hear it, so I ain't even gonna dwell on it. But I did everything that's on that paper, right? I know that. Whatever. My thing is, why don't you give me the same time you gave Sarah from Newton? That's my beef. But you're right. Like, not everybody's in there talking about they're innocent. And but then one thing that you taught me too, it was like, hey, Ramilda, like when you went to court, it was Commonwealth versus Ramilda.
This is my most important part.
And you was like, who was there against you from the Commonwealth? And I'm like, what you mean? It was the DA's office. Darrell was like, yeah, but you don't see DA's office versus Ramilda. You see the Commonwealth. I thought about it like, yo, you're right. So explain to the people what you mean by that, actually. And
So that-
getting the people to actually, the community, the Commonwealth, to actually do something.
Right. So that is actually a movement. And the funny part about it is I was doing a magazine besides the True thing we were doing, but I was doing a magazine with What's Up, which was for Haley House, like helping the.
What's Haley House?
Haley House is a program that's still here in Boston now.
Yeah.
But they would kind of, I got to know Kathleen, the lady that runs it. And if you look up Haley House, it's like, it's down by Dudley. It's like where they, they feed people that don't have and the whole thing. And so through
Lunch,
Haley House,
breakfast,
we had a magazine. They had a magazine, What's Up? What's Up magazine. And so from prison, I would write these articles for them. And then I came up with this little idea, like, with her, if they could work it, you know what I mean? Meaning I can get it out to New Bedford because I had the connects over there. We could get it out and sell it for $1 and give the homeless person that's selling it 75 cents of that. Yeah. And then he would have 75 cents, so he'd have like a job. Yeah. So we were working it like they really employing the homeless instead of just giving, like, here, you working with this mag thing and then write about them and, help them out and put the money back towards them, so on. But the reason I brought up the Haley House effect is because that's how I understood they're not in my name. Because I'm going, well, here's a part of the community that's working with me. You know what I mean? And in the prisons, from What's Beautiful Never Dies, working with the Odom family, respect to them, you know what I mean? Angie, so many mothers, and creating this project, what is Beautiful Never Dies project, those projects were proof to me that it wasn't the community that was against me here. You understand that?
Right.
The perception that they put upon me, Commonwealth versus Darrell Jones,
Right.
was in that courtroom, especially at 18 years old, but even through life in there, seeing others come in, it wasn't hitting me and dawning on me that, wait a minute, this is just you, your little clerk, judge, and all you cats, everybody that's sitting in here is on my side.
Right.
That's what I was noticing, like, wait a minute, ain't nobody over there against me at all. See, in my case, the victim's family, they all knew it had nothing to do with me. I don't even know the man or the situation. So it was one of those, like, blanked out. So my people were there. His family, they contact, whatever, never supported it. You understand it? In or out, never stayed away
amazing.
From that. No one ever came.
That's really big. So they, from day one, knew you didn't have nothing to do with it?
Of course they knew, bro. They, if you look at my case and go online, you'll see they edit tapes. You understand? They cut up a tape and used the witness to be able to say this is an identification, which was the main thing they put against me, and cut the tape. And then said that they did it by accident. And come to find out that technology proved that what they actually did was took 2 different boards and layered it, and you know what I mean? And just crazy. You got to go online and see all that YouTube, man. You look it up there, right? You know, and but I want to get to that stuff in the time that should come to that.
Right.
But this is important to me. The Not in My Name movement, because it benefits someone else. I'm already home, bro.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to get people to understand. Like, you can look at it as arrogant. You can look at it that he's different. You can look at it like, you know, oh, he's limelighting. I'm limelighting for you because on my own life, I could just sit back and be sitting down in Florida and somewhere and kicked up and be in Aruba somewhere. I could just be enjoying my life.
Right.
You got your shmoney.
After all the time I've done. I would not be running to Boston and, you know what I mean, or posting about nobody else or saying, let's get them out. Or,
Right.
you know, even the Patriots, the first connect was me going there with them, with Devin and, you know,
Devin.
Jason and so
Oh, so
on,
yeah, you work
and
with
bringing
Devin.
it to
Devin's a
the
good
Innocent
dude. Shout out
Project.
to
Let's
Devin.
keep that honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't call Devin and them every day or try to keep up. I felt like it was an exchange. I took all the people I want, Sean as well as all of them. You know what I mean? Instead of me taking my family or anybody, I said the other innocent people should express, you know, feel this as well. Hooked it up with the Innocence Project and said we'll all go. You know what I mean? Even the cat from my job. It was like, we're going to go. You know what I mean? Who helped me get the job with the mayor, Rufus. Right. You know, it was like, we're going to go. And we went and had that time. But
Rufus from Roxbury?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I
You know what I mean?
Rufus.
Rufus was the director and I was working for the mayor. I was working for Marty Walsh at this time. That, you know, I wound up working for him. Yeah, shout out definitely to Rufus, man. You know, and you know, it was, you know, bottom line is while I'm working down there for the mayor and all that, I was his consultant and advisor.
Right,
so for a year, you know what I mean? Right to him, you know, directly giving him ideas. It still dawned on me that it was no Commonwealth there. You understand that? Like, eventually I caught on, so I started writing about it in What's Up. That's why I brought that up. That was the first time that I was writing, like, Not in My Name. I still have the little magazines and stuff, and I was like, Not in My Name, right? By the time I had came out of prison, I was trying to explain it to everybody else. So let me try to explain it to everybody in one nutshell here again. When I was in court, when you go to court, or unsuspectedly, hopefully none of us out here that's listening go to court,
Right.
they're gonna get up, and a district attorney is gonna get up from day one, right? Without a campaign. Usually there's a campaign to be able to say people are with you. Like, you know, why do elected leaders run? Why is Liz Miranda in the office? Because she ran and showed you that her community supported.
Right.
The DA is gonna get up from day one, just the DA with the judge and say, on behalf of the Commonwealth, Joe Blow over here, we trying to get him on. And the Commonwealth's position is,
Yeah, they say the Commonwealth.
right, now your mother, my mother, our grandmothers, everybody else, we don't know anything what they talking about. We don't even know they're on TV because it's not on TV.
Like, who from the Commonwealth? What you talking
Right,
about?
we don't even know because it's not on the TV, bro. It's nowhere on the television or somewhere we watching or on Twitter. These are private things that they're doing in that courtroom. So they had me without you knowing, without half my family would probably not know. Had it not the other family called down south or wherever. People, I had family that was gone that didn't realize, like,
a lot of things Roe put me on to.
you understand? So
Like,
the bottom
people,
line is,
innocent people.
when that DA is getting up saying, in behalf of the Commonwealth, that is a lie. But the reality is the Commonwealth has allowed that district attorney to get up and say in behalf of their names. Now, if I was running around out here and grabbed your credit card or anybody's credit card and just started charging stuff and they give you that bank alert on that phone, you ain't gonna sit back and be like, go ahead and use my name.
Right.
If I set up a Facebook page with your images and your whole family videos and do it my way, you're not gonna sit back and be like, yeah, I support that. No, you're gonna counter that. The same way if somebody was robbing a store with a picture of you on their shirt, white, black, no matter what, old, young, you're gonna be calling that news or whoever disclaiming, I don't know that dude. I don't know why he's robbing all these stores with a picture of me on it. You know what I mean? It's not me. So the principle behind that is that they are making a representation as though we know. Right. So I'm saying the only power we have to keep them in check, not all this legislation we writing and doing it. Sure, you turn it to legislation, but since it's put upon the people and the people are being used to say they're behind it, Not in My Name is us being able to say, start saying not in my name. And if we have a movement where more of us are saying not in my name, it is hard for a district attorney to get up there and do what they want to do because now they got an opposition called Not in My Name. Right. A group of the community that will turn into numbers that say, I don't know nothing about what you're doing to that boy right there.
Right.
Unless you want to put that on television or somewhere on Facebook where I can watch this trial all the time, then you can use my name and I can just be a part of the jury system and say I go along. But you're using my name for persecution. So Not in My Name is being able to say, realize that when you see me You understand that? And you see other brothers that have come out here innocently, be advised that you can't really separate yourself from us. Neither can my own mother, because they used my family's name, your name, Ro, your family's name, to convince me and to tell the world and to make me believe that the whole community in Commonwealth was against me. And so that's why I said in prison I learned by creating those programs, or even the first time Minister Randy, you know, and it's coming up, you know what I mean, good brother there, man.
Yes.
Dickinson, good brothers, all the, you know, Reverend Dickinson. This is our, Chuck Turner, may he rest in peace, Darren Howe. We were having our first community meetings. I created a project where we could have the leaders come in, and we were sitting with them. Ayanna Presley, she was then under John Kerry. She, you know, you guys didn't even probably know who Ayanna was. That's how smart she was even then, right? So she was coming. So I have all the pictures, like our first community groups. I had created this group where now we could sit with the leaders.
That group helped you?
Oh, that group caused as much flack in my life from those people in there. The worst thing they ever could think to happen was to give me an opportunity to have direct contact with legislators, to sit in my own room with them and talk to them. You understand that? Gloria Fox, everybody's coming, right? To talk to them. That was a threat to the prison, because it was everything I had been trying to do for years, change their policies, point out what they're doing to us in here. Now I got direct access. The reason I said it brought me the most misery, because from the most misery, I find myself. Doesn't mean misery doesn't still happen, but in misery, it does a different thing to me. Right. I don't lay back on hurt. It makes me stronger. You see what I'm saying? I believe like a God. I don't see a God playing a role to say, I'm going to allow these traumas to happen to make you weak. Right. You know what I mean? Jesus had to go through everything he went through before he got up on a cross. He was prepared for that cross more than the people next to him. You understand that? So I'm using these things, man, to try to reach a group of our people to understand whatever spirit, nature, whatever it is, we can overcome it by being able to say not in our names, things we don't approve of, and show our numbers and say, what do we support? Right? So I'll give you an example. I keep saying, you know, when they talk about finding aliens, if people pay attention to that or not, right? But let's just say an alien came down right now, right this second, and it was us three. And he said, hey, you guys, this planet's about to blow. You guys didn't know we exist. We're going to take you all out of here. We got one question for you. We got two seconds, man, basically the answer. We got to get out of here. If you're going, you're going. Take us to your leader. Who's your leader? And each one of us got some headphones on where our answers are going to be, we're not going to even know what we're saying. They only going to know. Who's our leader?
The president. Well, I'll say I don't know who the leader is.
Shit, myself.
Right. So all of that talk.
I'm gonna say I don't know who the leader is.
Hey, yo,
now, that's right.
Now, dig this here. No. Dig this right here. Right. Let's look at this in real life. Now, what I'm saying, I'm using this analogy to make it plain. Yeah. Right. Malcolm said make it plain. So this is my plain way. There's other ways I'd love to say it, but nonetheless, in the make it plain form, what would really happen to us right there in that situation, although I'm creating it as a fantasy, what would happen to us is that the first thing that knowledgeable person would do is go, they don't even know who their leader is, so we don't need them on our planet. We got successors over here. So it's like trying to get in the rap industry, any industry, people that are in those industries already put their intelligence at another place. We got to take our self-knowledge and show people where your self-knowledge applies. We're not good at that. So the reason why I'm using leader is because it's not for us to know our leaders, it's to know who's in our group to be able to talk about our leaders. Did we ever get together and really announce who our leaders are? Never. Is Clarence Thomas one of our people?
I wouldn't think so.
Right? See, these are the discussions blacks not having. Listen, Clarence Thomas has went against everything by himself. The only black man on there has went against stuff that, when we talk about racism, all the whites have done the right thing and said, nah, we can't do that to them in the criminal justice system, or we can't do that. Right. That's ridiculous. Clarence Thomas on the other side, like, do it to him, right? So this is what I'm saying, right? And now you think about it, my brother, just the shock of that, right? If we have our brothers really out, collectively at a table, sure, man, we could get it in. Sure, we could hate each other. Sure, we could bust shots. Sure, we could do all of that. But when we got to come to the table, can we account on that? That's why I look at crews and gangs and all those things, man. I got a family come from that. But even in prison, really looking at these brothers like the leaders of them, and I don't care what crew it is. What I started learning about them in prison was like, yo, damn, if I was fortunate enough to have access to all of them, it's almost like having to all of them and take that resource from that dude there who is super smart. He's running the community's kids. Mama been whooping you and doing whatever she got to do and providing. He's still running that. Yeah. He is an intelligent dude, right, that we could use. One day we're going to wind up at the table. The same way Ukraine and all that's going on. We don't know where this is going. We just let things happen. And when they happen, that's when we start doing something about them, right? We got to be able to take those resources and hear what they're saying as well and try to come to a language, bro. That's a common language so that when we have to confront the world the same way Ukraine, see, that's their people. They have to confront the world right now, right? And they calling on their boys. When you see Putin calling over there to China, Russia calling to China, what are you seeing? You saying calling your homeboys is a world thing. It might get big over here, calling your troops.
Right.
Okay, right now in this world, would we be able to call in the troops? Like, honestly, I tell myself, could me and you, let's take the hardest cat from Boston. If we want to go physical, kill him up, can he really, really pick up the phone and just call all the other brothers across the country and be like, yo, it's about us now? Because we're the most hated in the world. If you watch even what's happening in Russia right now, you'll realize who did they hold? The basketball player, the young lady, black. Who are the people having trouble getting out of there?
Africans.
Yeah.
Africans, right? It's always going to be about us.
Right.
Now, I'm not looking at it in terms of, and I want you to get back to, if we're doing an interview form, but we say we're doing it in kicking form, I want you to understand me and understand why I'm pressing.
I could dig it. Because, see, I understand it, right? My grandmother was in the Nation.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like in me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I understand where you're coming from. And then it's like, I feel like you got done wrong, right? And open your eyes, and you don't want this to happen to nobody else. And there's a bunch of people in there that need help as well, that you're reaching back, and you're like, yo, if I can help them, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're doing your just do, man. You know what I'm saying? You got out.
But you know what? Maybe that helps me too. You're actually getting a different interview from me. From Romelda, it's a little different here what I want to say, but go ahead.
Because I like helping people. Like, I don't get high at nothing, so that's my high.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It might be a little selfish.
No.
But that's my high.
No,
like, I like that feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when I help somebody, and I don't want nobody to know nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do. That's my high. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to help people.
But it all
like,
comes
and then
from
I go
something.
like, if I was in that position, would I want somebody to do it for me?
But it all comes from something, right? I believe, and sometimes we don't talk about what it comes from, right? Like, I see you on an everyday, constant basis, doing for people, doing for friends, doing for family, right? You never mention it. You're right. Absolutely. Like, if I know, it's because I see it or the person has told me. Like, we feed the homeless once a year, and like, there's times I'll forget. You don't ever let us forget. The last time you was like, well, we couldn't make it a Stop and Shop to get the stuff and make it. And you're like, well, let's pull over. And we stopped at McDonald's, and you bought like all these damn burgers. And we're riding around the city giving out McDonald's and stuff like that. But it's just like, again, it's like, there's a reason for that, right? Yeah. And it's like, and I don't think it's just like it makes you happy. It fulfills something.
Man,
you know what I mean? It could have been something that maybe what you saw growing up. You know what I mean? We did grow up in a neighborhood where Boston is a different Boston today than when it was when we were growing up, and then when you were 18 and picked up, those charges. But let's go back and like, speaking of, the Commonwealth versus you, because you're right, not in my name, right? I wasn't even there when this happened. I was 3-4 years old, but
1985,
I know.
I was what month was that?
My conviction 84. I mean,
no, your
my
arrest.
conviction 82.
82, so I was 1 year old.
No.
I'm not
arrested?
saying 82. I got all the numbers in my damn head. When I ask those questions about them, they're numbers. So I go to prison, it's 85, October 2nd, which turned
That's when you first got arrested?
That's when I got convicted.
Okay, when
I
you
got
get
convicted in November. Arrested in November.
Of 85.
November
85.
what?
You got arrested
Yeah.
November what?
November. Damn, now see, what you're making me do right now is what I told you prior.
No, because my birthday's in November.
No,
so
what I'm
that's
saying is, right, I'm going to continuously have difficult to that because, let me explain something to you.
Because you don't...
No, let me explain
I don't
something
like it
to you.
because bad things always happen
people,
on my birthday, so I just don't want to.
Right, but the only way I'm trying to explain people out here, I am your alien. That's why I brought up that alien thing for a reason. If no one else out in the world is disappearing for 35, 40 years and then popping back up on you, it don't happen nowhere in the planet. So that's why when I'm talking, it's really alien to the next cat. I know it is like, what? Well, I've been over here. But your point, Romelda, I just wanted to say her point. That point about like all the things we had done and, you know, what we've been and what we do, I really came on here this time to be like, let's tell them what we have to do. You know what I mean? We'll look at where we've been.
Right.
I don't even do these no more. I did this on the strength of like, yo, you know what? Me and Romelda, she got a show. I'm coming on that show. And actually, I'm going to provide new truths if you need them.
We appreciate
and where I'm
you.
going to be.
Appreciate you.
You know, but the numbers, the reason I'm saying that, and we talked about this prior, I'm not going to do well with that because I'm doing the same thing you do on your computer. You know, when you got a bunch of music or whatever you got, or too many pictures, you start deleting.
Yeah.
A lot of that is obsolete to me. So I start deleting it. I look at where my freedom at? When do the dates, you want to know the dates I set my own freedom? Or I got those locked, even inside.
So I kind of want to, you know, touch on it a little bit because I want kids to know, like this can happen to anybody. Like if it happened to you, like this can. How can we prevent this? How can we, you know, what can we do? Because even you speaking about these things, it's preventing will help this, you know, stop this maybe from happening to somebody else and somebody to look more onto the criminal justice system.
Absolutely.
Like prevent this from happening to young black men, young black women, or anybody.
I believe it makes it real.
Because like they want to relate to somebody who's been through this shit. You know what I'm saying? And you've been through this shit. And I believe it
makes it real.
And your story is really compelling. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, man, this dude been through. And you know, it's kind of like I didn't face what you faced, and I feel like then that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They did that.
I'd have been in prison, and I don't know about being in prison for 32 years for something I didn't do.
Yo, listen, I got arrested for things I didn't do. Imagine getting convicted and being in jail 32 years for something you didn't do. Like the anger, the bitterness. Like, how do you get over that? You know what I'm saying? And then,
but I want to say, like, I think, and I agree, and I think that telling the story too makes it real. And I know it gets tired, and we talk about this all the time. Like, it gets tired. Like, I'm tired of telling people that, you know, XYZ, I'm formerly incarcerated, whatever have you. But it makes it real. Just like when we talk to legislators, our story become real. They get to know someone that is going through it. When I introduced you to Twitter, you know, and you know,
man, you follow her on Twitter?
No, so
no, I wanted to know how to do it, but I don't want to be distracted from. It's gonna be hard with me. I told you, I try to set it up all the time. Like, yo, my mentor is already saying, like, can I use this information? Can I not?
Yeah.
Right.
But the Twitter thing was a good look. You've asked me 3 questions, so I don't want to lose.
Hold on,
those.
no, we're gonna go. So
that.
even with the Twitter thing, so when we connect you to Twitter, it was just like. Even then, I told you I don't want to run your page because I go think. But even that, like, it started a conversation because when I introduced you to Twitter, I had put you out there. I said, hey, everybody, this is my friend. I told a little bit of your situation. And so many people showed you love. But then we had a few that were like, oh, well, 32 years. How was he innocent? Like, obviously, he's out now. So that, you know, says something. But there was just different things.
These
you
people
know what
are
I
crazy,
mean?
man.
And then I remember arguing with a random dude. We started arguing because I just like, how dare you even say something like, and he's like, well, if people don't, and I'm like, didn't I just find myself arguing with these idiots? So there are people out there who still believe certain people belong in prison, certain people this and that. So when people like you, when Sean Ellis and other people tell their stories, or even myself, when I talk about my incarceration, when I talk about how I got there, or even like segregation, like I don't, you know, we always had these conversations after. I don't like talking about them, but it helped makes changes. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, again, we appreciate you and thank you for being on here because, again, it's about the younger people and what we left behind. You know what I mean? And it's about us taking care of our community and, again, making it real to young people. Because everybody leaves Boston and go to Providence and Somerville and Brockton and whatever to party, to meet up with girls or skating or whatever have you. And these stories, they happen. Again, we know some of the same people that are still locked up that are innocent. And I know for a fact, you know for a fact. So these stories, even though
they help out.
You know, I'm sorry, like you have to relive it and everything, but they do. And, you know, and I'm sorry. And I know it's not me that put you in there.
That's not, me and you don't do that. So we're not doing no commercial here either. We're going to keep it real. I'm with Romelda. I do other shows and they want a behavior pattern. I still don't follow those. So on here, definitely we're not doing that. Right. It's factual, right? I do want to say.
Everybody know me know that.
As many of the points that I can remember, right? I do want to say that I can't live my life out on performance. Right. So I realized that, you know, otherwise I'd be right directly into the movies. Right. I probably couldn't control that either. I can't. in prison, I know what I've done. Right? And I don't do it in challenge. I do it in some form of respect. Like, damn, man, you know, not only did I have to do it, but I was in there innocently while I was doing it.
Right.
And, you know, it got me through. It was given. I wanted to give.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it best because it was new. But I was raising the issue. I was going to the Hoes Forum. I was filing that paperwork. My brother M1 was doing that. We were doing that collectively. You digging what I'm saying? You know, from the nation coming on, we done a lot of things, bro, and created a lot of projects. My brother Fuquan, that was our circle. You feel me? These things we're on. They're day ones. Darren Howard, we're day ones. You know what I mean? Unquestionable day ones, right? But the idea is you have to pass that baton on.
Yes.
At some point, I have to be willing to do that. So I have to correct the idea. So I'm doing the innocentconvicts.org. And the president of that with Brother Osagi. There's a reason that I took that position. I'm doing a bunch of things, but I'm doing that. And I'm livening that up because when you're in prison and you're convicted innocently, it does not play out the way people think that it plays out. That's what's important to me today. It does not play out the way that people think it plays out. I'm not really here. I'm here on the kid's side, prevention. It's just like Gangsta Gone Legit. You see there's an innocent edition. I don't want to come back to that, not to lose point, but the purpose of it, there's Ice edition, there's an innocent edition, there's editions, but the Gangsta Gone Legit is about going legit. We'll talk about that. But I'm equating it to something, right? With my brother King Parrish, Belknap, we all doing it, but I equate it to something. These movements I make myself part of, so that is for the youth, right? That is advising those that have been in the game that are still out here like, yo, that might not be the move.
Right.
But my primary position is not being able, because there's 3 points in this. My position can never be one of saying I'm doing things to stop people from getting convicted. I know that that's a fool's role because that's all paperwork, and that paperwork already been there saying don't do this, don't do that. Those policies, those constitutions already been there. That's why we get out, because of those constitutions and those facts that were overlooked. So they're already there. So we got a bunch of people that spend their time, you know, like, check it out, I'm gonna get on this board, I'm writing this bill, I'm doing that, and I'll participate, but from afar, because I'm going, by the time you do that, the dude that's in there is who I'm concerned about, like I was. He still has that little bit of hope, and it's slim. So my real position is trying to bring brothers home. And my methodology to doing it is probably not always being nice or saying I'm hurt or putting myself at an expression of
nice
woe
guys
is me.
finish last, though.
No, it's not even that. I respect the idea of somebody doing it nice, but you're right. It is finishing last, but right now we're in a race where only thing that's going to matter is that you finish, right? And not delaying that. Everything has to be a little more direct. This is a situation we're really in, right? So when these things are going on, COVID, I want people to understand how I would feel if I was still in that prison, how I know that other person feels, that I know it's still there, like my brother Fuquan. I know how he feels, because when we're going through COVID and doing all that stuff, we lose sight.
Right. I want you to talk about that, too.
Okay, we lose sight, right? Because we're going through something, our traumas, our different things, we lose sight. And then, you know, this war, they lose sight. So all of these legislators and people that were in place to focus on the criminal justice system entirely, because that's where we were. Before all this happened, that's what was going on. Black rights and can they solve this? All that, nobody don't realize that ain't even coming up. The voting laws are already in place. Now the voting is going on, and they dealing with that. Like, oh, shit, they didn't switch the laws. They didn't change the voting thing. We're going through all this in Georgia. We're doing all this, right? All that's going on. All of those things right there, distractions out here for you, but they're a bigger distraction when you're the one in prison saying, damn, I just was getting my case to this level, and now the court's closed down for a year because of COVID. I was just getting myself in position.
You got to start over.
For you out here, you can afford that 5 and 6 years and be like, well, I got a 5-year goal life plan. But, you know, you got a life plan involving things you bought, homes you want, and cars. This person got a 5-year plan to have a life, and it ain't being delivered on because of these distractions. So who's going to keep making that noise? Now, if I try to do it always quietly, right?
It's not going to work.
It's just not going to work, because you know what's going to happen? It's going to turn into interview time. You can be their shine man without even knowing you their shine man. I mean, yeah, you got all the shine, but that's all you really are. We'll call you when it's shine time. You dig what I'm saying? They don't call me on it because they know I'm going to be who I am. So when they do, it's like we got to do it anyway. When I did that with the Globe, the Aaron Hernandez thing and different things that I've done, when they buzz me, they know we're going to get what you're going to get with him. I'm not going to articulate how I feel to you. I'm going to express how I feel. There's a difference. There's a difference. So I just want to be clear on that. These things right here are holding up the brothers in prison, holding up the sisters in prison who have hope. Those distractions I'm trying not to leave no room for them. I'm trying to still be echoing some form of voice loud, no matter how I do it, to be able to say they there. You dig what I'm saying? They there. They know what's going on.
But
right?
when you do it, and when yourself, Sean Ellis, like when guys like you guys do it, it becomes real to the community, to the people, to the residents, to the family, right, to the Commonwealth, to even your own family members, right? When, you know, sometimes we second guess our peoples, we do it ourselves. But when you do that, like we did with the Twitter situation, it became people was like, wow, 32 years, that's longer than I've been alive. And it draws people to your story, right? And then it makes it reality for those that are left back inside.
Be clear on this. So I'll announce this here. I feel sorry for me. That's enough. I was feeling sorry for me every day that I was in there. Right. You know what I mean? With strength, getting stronger with it, like working out. My spiritual account was good. And I was adding to that addition. But I don't need any help in that. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because whatever I'm going through, the trauma, it's going to be there anyway. I got to work it out. I had to work it out 32 years alone. Now I can have a little support, but I'm still going to have to work it out, primarily, no matter what I do. For me, there's a big difference right now in my own life, in my own terms. In order for me to ever really be free, I had to edge out what's not me, meaning even in presentation. I know I mean no offense. I know I mean it for good. And me and God know, primarily. God knows. So he can look at it and say, yo, if I disrupt something along the way of trying to do the good, then I go, well, listen, look at where I came from. So maybe in that moment I was louder than I should be. You know what I mean? Maybe that moment it was passionate. I've been trapped in a box for 32 years where every single hour of the day is an event and trauma. You understand that every single hour of the day, the stuff you watching on the news, oh, they sick the dog on somebody, oh, the police beat somebody. I'm seeing that every other day. They might be jumping on these young gang dudes and gassing them and doing, I'm seeing that daily. You're just seeing it when it's an incident.
Yeah, just small.
And let's get there, right? And it's like going back to like, this is 1985. Again, I'm in kindergarten, probably not even, right? And this is 1985, and you at 18 years old at that time, whatever, 19, 20, you're going into, at the time what Walpole was called MCI Cedar Junction.
No. Walpole was Walpole. Now it's Cedar Junction.
Yeah, you're right. MCI
Walpole was Walpole.
So exactly, and where I'm getting
what's the
at.
difference?
Hold on, let me get to here first. Like during those times in the late '80s, Walpole was one of the worst prisons in the country, not the state, but one of the worst prisons in the country.
Even prior to me coming, the guys that are there now, you know, some dudes in there now have bodied people in there. Bottom line. So. When I went in there,
but I seen the documentary. Like, how was that for you as an 18-year-old?
But let's explain to him what it is. Walpole was Walpole. It wasn't like none of the prison now and all these guidelines and rules and whatever. Walpole was the cops sat outside the block. This is when I'm just coming. You know what I mean? They just coming in. They just changing all that.
I went to visit somebody in Walpole in like 1989 or 90, something like that.
Right, but I want to give you the story. But so you're sitting outside of it. The police are not inside the block. So basically, it's like being in this room and telling every bad guy or whatever you want to consider us, yo, I'm gonna close this door, but I'm gonna throw y'all all in there, live how you living. We're gonna break food time. It's gonna be this, and then if y'all do anything we don't like or something out of play, we're gonna come in there and beat you down. See, back then, stadies would come. Like when the prison had to be taken over, like when I first came, the state police are coming. That means guards, everybody out, man, they throwing TVs off of tiers. They ain't respecting nothing. They ain't doing no shakedown. They got a reason to shake it down that they gonna do it the way they wanna do it. Your TV can be thrown, your stuff can be broke. Nowadays, you can grieve it and get a new one and all that. It's a wrap. You say anything, you ain't getting up against that wall or stripping down. Dogs is on you, they beating you, and ain't nobody saying nothing. Right. You understand that? So this is a different Walpole, right, when I'm going in. You know what I mean? You look at like, you know, from 85 down, especially like once it got to like 88, 89 and all that, it's changing. Right. When it gets to 91, it's getting ready to try to be back to drama because now we're dealing with all of the, you know, the new governors and different things. Right. But that's the bottom line. Cedar Junction today is basically like a program. All of the prisons are programmed. It's real dudes in it, but their idea is programmed. Yeah. The idea is that they have the wrong program for the wrong men and probably for the wrong women. I'm not there, but the results tell me. So they have the wrong program. So all you can do about prison today is try to restructure its programming, right? You know what I mean? So let me give you an example of that real quick. Restructuring is programming, meaning when I come home, people don't understand that. They think, if you've been around somebody or you watching whatever you call it, swagger is, you know, these things we pick up, you pick them up. This is the way life carries. You will forget who that person is when you're really talking to them, right? You'll look at it like, you know, if it's me, you, whoever, you look at them like, Romelda got a new show on, D's doing good, they doing good. You know what I mean? They think bro, even if, you know what, in reality, even if people like us thought we were the ish, damn, let them have it. We done gave our whole lives up being nothing. So let them have the thought of being whatever they're going to be. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's so mixed up out here. So when I came home, even the idea, man, like a phone, I realized they send me home and I got to literally, when I started, you know, pass my phone to somebody. You won't even want to pass your phone to nobody. Yeah. My phone is in everybody's hand. Like, how does this work? What's that? How to set up the Twitter? How do you do this? Everybody's on the phone. It took me a while to realize, like, wait a minute, man. I set that old email up through somebody I don't even know. I done set this up, man. I should have been the first one already in the jam. But the idea was, why couldn't I have learned that in prison?
Right.
There's so many things you can learn about this phone without calling nobody. Everybody know what a phone call is, and texting somebody or sending an email that these people could have naturally worked it out with Apple or any other group, as I've been trying to do, and been able to say, here's the phone, and same way you selling your little radio program in there, and we can learn that. So when you come home, put that in your hand. It's the first thing you need
basically
to get a job to do anything.
For society as it is when they're coming into it.
Real life programming, bro.
Okay.
Real life programming. At the end of
Not
any
the
bit,
bullshit.
At the end of, okay, bro, listen. I got every certificate and more that the prison ever provided for any programs. I built programs. So that's how I just started building.
None of that today.
I have all of that. I can't walk into a bank and be like, check this out. I got anger management certificates and everything. Right? All the stuff that dudes got certificate for, drug programs and all that stuff. You come home, you present that to somebody, I'm sure they'd be like, oh, very good. You did very good in prison. When you leave, they're saying, damn, he must have had anger issues. He had drug issues. He had to go to every program. You dig? That's what you really got.
You're right.
That's what you really got, not knowing it, if you're trying to present that.
Yeah.
So that's why I went to building
like,
my own.
What did he do?
They're looking at it like, why you had to take that?
Why do you have to
take? They don't understand it.
You understand that, but you had to take all these. But you can't apply them anywhere. So the primary here, we don't have like aviation and, you know, like some of the Fed joints where you work on cars and all that ain't going down. Dudes be working in industries and stuff, right? Sewing shop, all this stuff you get, maybe some tables, some chairs and all that, right? At certain joints. But primarily, the work is cleaning up the block, cleaning up oil spills, you know, basically. Right. And you working all day and working in the kitchen, serving food and whatever. You come home, you're going to tell a restaurant, no, never mind that ticket right there. I got in the beef in the kitchen because I was trying to get this dude this bread and he was trying to harass me. But anyway, I was a good server. Yeah, the restaurant is just like, first of all, prison. What if this dude gets angry and throw? This is how these people think.
Right.
And we have to be conscious of how they think. So I know that. Us knowing that, what are we going to do about it? So the programming has to change. Right. One of the primary issues, bro, and shout out to every brother that struggled with this, myself, every brother, man. This is odd, but I'm going to do this here. And I actually have my own podcast coming, and we're going to be uniting. Yep. But I'm saying we're going to be uniting, bottom line.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
But the point is, I'm going to say that here before I even say it on my own, right? To every sister that I probably met, and not many, how I went about it. There's a whole bunch of questions I got. There was one I actually should do with my brother 8 because he does the late night thing. But I'm going to be doing it myself because it's nothing you're not going to be able to ask me. Whatever happens, happens, right? Man, I want to say right now, be aware of this. I understand it. To every sister, I didn't do that to any sister. I wasn't with a sister. I got married that last time, even though that changed. But the point is I had got married for 10 years. While I was in there, I was the same person. We were a good business partner. We did a lot together, you know, whatever it is. And she's from Bulgaria. I'm from there. So I'm not going to mention no names and none of that. But the point is, we were friends, you know what I mean? We accomplished a lot of business together, from our mag on down to what's beautiful now. We did things together. I honor that, you know what I mean? Like we had the mindset, like follow suit. She would follow suit. And I would follow suit if it had to be a change. We collectively could do something, you know what I mean? Whether I come up with it or not. Whether I create an idea, she still put it in action for me. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to say that every woman out here that feels abandoned, because I hear that a lot, and this is what I'm going to be talking about on my show as well, because we do things that we don't know, right? So you have to understand that. And so when you see a lot of sisters who spent a lot of time coming to prison, you know what I mean, visiting just like dudes. I don't know how dudes go to the joint, right? I doubt dudes do go to the joint.
They
but
don't.
There's brothers that go. Come on now.
I only had one that
Go
I dated.
go visit women.
Go visit.
Nah, I never experienced that. But if I was with my woman and she went to jail, I'm going to visit.
Right. So what I'm saying
A
is,
lot of guys say that, but they don't. Everybody I dated, only one guy did.
Hold on. So you don't believe me when I say that?
Oh yeah, I believe you.
But the point, let's stay on the point. The point is,
my girl go to jail, I'm going to visit.
But the point is now, the people that are visiting, what I'm saying is, I was talking about the suffrage of the women. That's why I'm in that movement so much, because I watch my own behavior. This is when you learn what type of women and what type of things, man. We trying to work around particular company, all due respect, right? We're doing no free advertising, nor are we stealing it. Yeah, I'll announce that for my brother, so I got mine covered. So anyway, right? Make sure y'all know why I'm fidgeting with that. Yeah. So, but the bottom line is us. It's always going to be us, right? About us. Right. That visitation, there were ladies that were coming. And oftentimes there'll be women that have esteem issues, women that are heavy, different things. Right. Brothers come home and they think you just gist on them. You know what I mean?
That's wrong.
But one of the things that I'm saying, and then there's good relationships that have gone a long time. You know, I know brothers that women that have been with for 20 years have come home and they've been solid. And they solid the first 2 or 3 years coming out here. And then you see this breakup and different things, and they got to leave their originals. And you try to say, how can we be together so long even when I'm not there? Even when I'm not there physically, you are with me and we are doing, how can we get together and live in the same? I got the answer
for that.
But let me give my answer, and then we'll take a woman's view if I could, right?
Yep, definitely.
But listen, I'm saying, how could we do that? Because this is almost like my apology as well. Mm-hmm. But how could we do that and make it work and it doesn't work here? Well, one of the main things to me is that it doesn't work here because when we're in there, we're applying our hearts or our minds, if you're authentic about the woman at all, we're applying our hearts and our minds and how we feel, because we got to communicate this way. Mm-hmm. When you come out here, the communication is different. Yeah. Right? The communication isn't always a solution or an answer to the problem, because it's easy answering her problem sitting in jail saying, nah, baby, all you got to do is right there. When she said that bill is low, like, nah, I'm going to write you this letter. All you got to do is this right here. I'm bringing that up for the accountability reason. The accountability is to say to those sisters, like, I don't think a lot of brothers intended that. Right. I just want to say that. I don't think a lot of brothers intended that. I think when we come home, and this is back to the prison, I think when we come home, what doesn't happen, we haven't had any relationship where we were actually able to physically, mentally, any type of way, personally talk, like the prisoners sit across and do all this. So now we home. You know, it was a big thing for me to be around a woman and in a day at all. That's why I had to have my own place, my own everything. I couldn't understand the concept of, I don't leave that there and live. Pick that up, move this, do that, do this. Why are you parking here? What are you doing here? Are you gonna be on that phone all day? Like all of these things was like, oh shit, this person doesn't know that sound like the prison guard. Yeah. Jones, do this, move here, go to account time. She's not meaning it, but that's all I can register. Right. And a lot of brothers only can register. And I'm saying all that to say they should have allowed, even towards the end of an incarceration, my brother, they should have allowed the men and the women, I don't care if they want to call it conjugal or no conjugal, they should have allowed room no matter what. If they know you coming, even during my trial time to get ready to turn over, they should have allowed you to go and spend time with the person you're about to jump out the blue and live in.
Prepare you for society. So basically,
those are real programs.
Yeah,
I agree, but I think it's just relationships. So this is my thing.
You're gonna touch on the relationship thing, but let's not forget. I want you to touch on, because you mentioned his name a couple of times, Brother Fuquan or whatever.
Definitely.
So go ahead, Ro. You do that.
So I think mine is more like, I agree. And I learned, I will say that I learned that before. I used to talk all my trash and be like, oh, jail talk and all this other stuff, because there is a lot of that, right? And there is dudes that date women.
Jail talk?
No, it could have happened, but I don't think, like, again, for me, the jail talk is, I'm not looking for nobody in jail. So anybody that I dated in jail, while I was in jail, whatever, I dated on the streets.
All right, cool, pause, stop, whatever language out here works to interrupt that. See, that is so unfair. Let me say this right here. That means, see, this is what I'm talking about, Commonwealth versus somebody. The perception of us is like, yo, he's in jail.
No, that's not why. I'm not going to say that.
I'm not saying, even if somebody has, I just want to get this out to anybody else.
Yeah.
Yo, You meet somebody in Africa, you meet somebody in Rome, Australia, right, in a bathroom, right, in a rubble. Maybe you meet somebody in the time that a plane blew up and you were the ones that survived, right? People meet all kinds of ways. Yeah. Taking it off the table to say like, yo, I saw something with this brother. I want to say something to this brother, get to know this person that might be fighting to come home or whatever. There are still human beings and individuals in those prisons, men and women, that have the same right as everybody else to meet the rest of the world.
I try not to
against
judge
that.
people based on
Hold on, let me say, I'm not against that. I just, for my own personal reasons, due to other things in my own growth and in other reasons, that I'm not against it. I've been there, so I'm not the one to judge.
No, because that means that would be fraudulent upon the women's species to me to be able to say, you know what, I'll talk to you now. I'll get to know you now. You understand? To me, I look at it that way. I'm saying we're knowable anywhere. That was my only point. You know what I mean? I was the same individual and a better individual coming out maybe, but the same individual you could have probably provided to my growth. Never just
like
take
I am
the
who I
position
am.
not to
I
write
am
a
who
brother
I
or
am.
be in community.
I am who I am.
I am who I am, and I am who I am in there. Out here, my character was always me. Like.
No, I want them to know you individualizing that. You know what I mean? Like we wasn't talking as a group thing because I want them to know as a group.
No.
I don't think that's fair. You know, make a choice about who you might talk to.
See, I might meet somebody today while doing our prison visits and the things that we do.
And they may be innocent.
You never know. And not only that, he might change my life. Shoot. He might come out of jail and change my life.
Give it a chance, bro.
I'm not saying I ain't against it. Y'all know how I feel when I go to the jail.
I mean, shit, you know.
Nah, they got, listen, ladies, that's what all the, man,
I'm not suggesting that you say,
all the brothers
me, I had to break up
me.
relationships I didn't want to break up, right? Because 10 years has gone by. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take somebody with me for, like, hey, just be my woman for 5 years, 10 years. I had to keep moving that because in my own heart, it was like bringing them to prison. Like, you're going to be in prison with me. You're going to be my woman and in prison, and I'm going to give orders for you not to mess around.
You broke the relationship off.
Yeah, oftentimes I would do something to destroy it. I was young, man, so I did not knowing the method, but I just, talk to somebody else or just destroy it. That's what I'm saying. I'm destroying it. Because for me, there's this 2 and 3 window, 2-year window, and then there's 5 years. And when you start off meeting somebody, you're in prison. When you start off meeting somebody and you're like, I'm fighting this case, right? First of all, just say, I'm trying to give you a method. Say I was in the joint and I could send out only 200 letters, right? The first part of that letter to women, meaning that you get one campaign. If we was gonna go to prison, they were like, you get one campaign, and then if you get a woman there, and she wants to talk to you, that's it. But after that, you can't in the prison. The bottom line is in that campaign, you have to open up like I'm in prison. Oh, and for natural life. Right. How many women you think are opening that mail like, yeah, this is the ticket right here. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
That to me is like I was telling you, it's just, like you were saying, there are a mix of things. There's the jail talk that happens, of course. There's the guys that look at if you pay like you wear, you stay. They need their canteen.
But sometimes that's their real feelings. But then they get out of jail, life happens. And then there's that.
Man. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna tell you how it happens, though. No, absolutely not. But then,
listen. And not only that, right there. Let me let Ro finish. But I just, not only that. This is the misconception about prison game. Because I was young. Probably played that same thing. You don't know. But the point is, prison game really is a lot of prison pain. Yeah. So people that are probably, you think are doing something to you are really doing something to themselves because if they understood the worth of you, even having somebody in that prison, they'd understand this ain't nothing to be playing with or risking. Yeah. So really, we all kind of messed up during that growth of the system.
Right.
Like, for example.
Let's put it back to the system that's creating.
For example, I'll take my situation, right? That was true and there, that came out, whatever. I didn't intend for that man to lose his job, right? I didn't intend for any of the things to happen to happen. Talking about? Like my situation, right? So my situation is a CO. Everybody know the story, whatever the case may be.
What's the story? I don't know the story. Like you mentioned.
I dated a CO one time. In one of my bids, I dated a CO. Shit. Whatever the case would happen. I didn't intend for the things to happen. But did I like the person when I came home? No. So what I learned from that was, you're in there, right? And this is me as a woman, like this is what I learned and this is what makes it change. And I started seeing it in guys and I changed my mind and concept on that jail talk or they just, no, you're not intentionally harming that person. You know what I mean? Emotionally. So when you're in there, all you have is this, right? This unit, this block. So for me, like all you see is this person that might be the flyest thing with the most swag or the most whatever in here, they start writing, you writing each other, that you're building, and this is all you see. So I'm not gay, so I'm not looking at the chicks. I'm looking at this. This is all you see. So, okay, it's cool for the moment. You think you like them. Well, you do, whatever the case may be. Then when you come out, it's like, damn, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? You start dating. You start going out. You leave the prison walls. It's the whole reality of society.
So you was dating a CO while you was incarcerated, and then you was dating him when you came home as well?
When we came,
But he got fired?
For a short period of time. He got fired for something else, but yeah.
He got fired because of dating you? Or?
No.
Okay.
Other things that came up, but part of that was
Did they question him about dating you at the time?
Is there any legality issues to this right here? Because I'm going to protect my sister, right?
No, we know the story,
I kind of know the story.
No,
I'm saying that's good for the readers to get the story. I always was conscious of whether you sue or involved in that. Cases come back, and what's the time limit?
Ro mentioned this, right, to me, right? Without these cameras, but I'm playing dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it's for the audience, whatever. They might want to know. You mentioned it, so it's like, how can you mention it and not touch on it? You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to incriminate Ro.
And I won't tell her.
So
of course not.
She's
safe on both sides,
cool.
right?
Yeah, the facts.
Right.
But we're going to not let her do it to herself.
Him, we're not going to incriminate him.
She tried to incriminate me a couple times.
No, I did. No, but even him, we're not going to incriminate him. We know him. We're not going to incriminate him. Yeah, so we're not going to incriminate him. We know him, but it is what it is.
All
like,
right, well, forget that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But for me, like I said, like, let's go back to the original thing. It's like, so for me, it was that part of it. Because anybody else I dated before I went in. But it was that part of it, and that's when I learned, like, it's not jail talk. Because for me, it was a jail talk. That's how I felt at the moment.
Okay.
But when you come out,
you learn from yourself.
Yeah.
You learn from yourself.
Myself, from that
because
situation.
what we're trying to get across is that I'm not saying it, man. I was a letter writer. You know what I mean? Like the truth, they'll come eventually, even for others. The point was, you're not really doing it for the intent of hurt. You're doing it for the intent of adding to someone, adding some love to someone, adding an opportunity, and at the same time, if you're honest with yourself, you're like, yo, probably lonely up in here. No matter how hard you are, when that cell door, if you don't have the conscience to realize that you alone.
That cell door closed, and you be like, damn.
No, but if you don't have the consciousness
I'm by myself,
to know that you're alone, you have to know what alone is. Alone is not just because I'm alone, bro.
Right.
Alone is being able to say, I can't apply what I am. There's a difference in alone. That's why people out here don't understand why other people may commit suicides or why they're going through what they're going through, because they got people that overtalk that part, bro. This is important.
Yeah. You enjoy those conversations with somebody outside of here. Like, I'm tired of hearing all these, you know what I mean? These women and these.
I get what he's saying, because when you're in that cell and you're fucking restricted from doing everything, you can't be who you're restricted. It's like, damn. It's kind of like, because, I was incarcerated for a little bit of time, right? So when I called, like, sometimes I didn't want to call.
Nope.
Because I don't want to hear the good stories and shit.
Right,
I go back to this fucking cell.
Bored.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They laughing on the phone. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking do my time. Fuck this phone shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
But sometimes you got to paint a picture for people.
It might be 2 weeks. I'll be like, yo, I'm leaving the phone. So my cousin Rodney he'd be like, oh, he ain't using the phone right now. And the people be like, yo, tell him to call me.
Yeah.
Like, yo, he ain't using the phone.
But so many people are selfish and they don't understand that.
Because I'm in jail. Y'all go back to having fun. I go back to my cell. Like, I'm in this motherfucker by myself. Like he said, I'm alone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a whole bunch of thoughts going through your head. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I just think everything is different.
Sit down and think. You're thinking about every fucking thing in life. You might think about elementary, middle school.
Right, but I'm trying to establish the difference in being alone, right? I don't want people to assume that my personal loneliness was based on that cell. Obviously, the result of God tells me I can handle your cells. Right. I can handle your oppressions. You know what I mean? I got a little bit of Nat Turner spirit in me. I got a little bit of my tribe, the Blackfeet Indian in me. I got a little bit of my father being carried, these fighter forces in me without me even knowing. Doesn't mean that I was built for and qualified for and was supposed to be, the guy that gets in there, Floyd Mayweather with you. I wasn't in my position for that. Yeah. I was actually, it took me a minute to know that, but I was in a position of prison when I woke up to it by watching what I was doing. Won a United Nations award in that prison, many other awards, and worked with some good brothers to do some good stuff that was out here. People like Dickinson and Reverend Dickinson, all due respect, and Minister Randy, all of them, they know they were part of it, right? Bullying videos, we've done all that. But I wasn't in there that kind of alone. I understood. I was growing to realize, like, what is alone? In my loneliness, I learned what is alone. I wanted to have the factors of these things before I started talking. I didn't want to tell people about prison. We can Google right now and find 9,000 stories, and that's when we're going to overtalk ourselves about somebody coming out of jail. Everybody out of jail going to get a podcast. We learning what to do, right? Yeah. But the reality is, did we learn the situation itself, in the situation? Not come out here and mimic it.
Right.
You understand that? And mimic it means you didn't apply it until you're doing it. And the reason I look at that, when I see with me, we talk about this. Don't be misinterpret this. When I see Ro trying to do what she's doing, you trying to do what you're doing, and I'm going, yo, they invited me a long way for me. You know what I mean? They invited me. They doing the show. Look at Ro program. This is where she's supposed to be. But the people that would know, who think they know her, would look at it like, that ain't where she's supposed to be.
Right.
They assume that we work like books or items in your home that you can put up against something, and when I put that down, it's gonna be there when I come back unless you touch it, right? We're not items. We're actually moving human beings. She's where she's supposed to be. People don't know the difference. So in prison, whatever she was there for, I know for me, I caught on that, yo, this is how God's playing. Devil's gonna go to work on you, man. Listen, I already did this. If you want to say Jesus is my son and you understand that mathematic, whatever your religion is, let's just be sure that he went to a cross. And before that, the devil had him for 40 days in the desert and all kind of stuff. So God will put you through something. That's common sense to me. That's the only reason I'm reading the Torah, the Quran. I want to know about the sufferers, Job, and that type of thing. Bro, once I was suffering, I understood the difference of alone. And we not taking a resume. What Ro has is what I confidently will say I have. A resume of doing time. There's a difference. So someone else will get a slot. That really, Ro will do best in that slot. Now, I'm going to prove this to you. Will do best in the real extreme circumstances, Ro will do best in that spot because she's built culturally and spiritually for that fight. You understand? Just like a Malcolm, a Harriet Tubman, she's built, it's a spirit given to you. We don't control that. We can misuse it. We can not know how to use it, but she's built for that, right? I feel like it was destined for me to be built for that, right? But to apply it to people that are lonely, to give them the actual fact of how to work around your loneliness. Otherwise, we're going to have kids out here feeling hurt. The worse this gets for America, right? And the worse it gets for the economy and everything, our kids suffer. And they don't know what to do with that suffrage. I want them to know, like, in this box, here's the tricks and techniques that I learned and why I was able to constantly be involved in your community from the prison, because I understood this is the real life. You have to bring them out of that box. You know what I mean? To let them know, out of that dark. We're responsible for bringing our kids out of that dark, bro. It's a dark time. That is a gift. You know what I mean? That is a gift. And she has that gift. And no, I'm saying, and you have that gift. There's no thank you. It's the factual. We might not even know the course. Even God having us here now, right? You know what I mean? All praise to Allah. Having us here right now will put us in a situation to be able to say, you and Ro think, this is how I look at it. This is how I see it coming to me from the Spirit. You might look at it that you and Ro, right, are just doing a little show. But in my mind, I'm sitting here saying, we can talk about anything we want, frivolous shit, whatever. But in reality, the only reason I drove down here, because the Spirit, for me, not the one that everybody's looking at this thing right here. I'm talking about this man's spirit that got me out of there and kept me safe, that showed me how to hold that part mentally and spiritually, right? Has told me, like, these are the opportunities to do those. Never mind what this big paper's talking about. I got all kind of stuff I'm doing. Never mind what the radio show over there talking about. Yo, over here is where you're supposed to be because he got a message.
Right.
He or she has a message that we can get across. So this time right here is almost like the message. It's the beginning. It ain't the last time bro gonna do a show, you gonna do a show, I'm gonna do a show. I think the idea is to be able to say, you about to see a show. Do we do with everyone else? I'm saying this to my sister. I'm comfortable here. See, I didn't come on the show. I'm not gonna be a one-time guest with my sister. I'll come back.
Okay. We need you to come back again and again.
I don't care how big it get and what celebrities we bring. The end result is, are we in our lane? And one of the things that people do, we've turned into great interpreters of other people's lives, right? Meaning that when you running in, in the race and the Americans are running in that Olympic, it's passing that baton, right? Now, The fastest dude missed that baton. If the wrap is over.
Yeah.
If the dude that starts the race step over that line before he's supposed to, it's over.
Right.
So everybody has a role. Out here, we got the dude who know he's supposed to play this role here starting off. If he's back there saying, damn, I'm the fastest one in the front, but I want to be the one in the end too because I want to be there, the one to run across that line. Bro, it's set up like that dude's the better runner for the last anchor of this. Yeah. Let him do that. We're on the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Out here, the loss of concept of team, because if we were teamed up correctly, it wouldn't be 900 podcasts. No. It would be enough of us with 5 mics being able to say, this is the new Hood Report. Yeah. This is it. This is it right here. We'll be, some days you might catch her, some days you might catch him, some days you might catch all kind of people. But when you're gonna hear it, when it's crunch time, we're gonna come on here and give you the crunch because we're in crunch time. And that dude in Ukraine, that president in Ukraine, is the difference I'm talking about between actionaries and revolutionaries and people who actually do shit with the national anthem behind them.
Because he's on the front line.
See, not only is he on the front line, but check his role. His resume doesn't have anything to do with, and I was the prime minister before this and the congressman before that. He was a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
But in crunch time,
that's why he
the one know what to do.
That's why he's able to make jokes in the darkest time.
Right, but it ain't about the joke. What he's able to do, see, comedians do something different that we don't see. That's why they craft. They are talking about us. That Commonwealth, they are really talking about us, and they've learned enough about us to tell us about us. Well, we ain't laughing out, but it's funny. We ain't laughing at it because we going through it, but when he tells it, we know we went through it. It is so real that we're laughing at ourselves without realizing, like, he's mastered the way of studying us. Right? So that's what that is. You get what I'm saying? That's what a comedian's doing. Everything is us at all times. So, we're not applying that. The collective us.
I want to run through some things real quick, but I want you to touch on Brother Fuquan. What you say?
Yeah. So because I'm doing this for a reason. I'm giving pause for you to edit because I needed to say this. Can we take a minute?
You want to touch on Brother Fuquan? How you say his name?
Brother Fuquan, his name is Ricky McGee.
Fuquan. Okay, yes. Ricky McGee. Shout out to Ricky McGee. I know him.
Free him.
McGee, Mike McGee. Is he related to Mike?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm actually working under the table.
Oh, you working?
But nonetheless, you know, it's just important to me, man. You know, it's a lot of brothers when I tell you, like, building the programs in the prison, man, you know what I mean? Even the brother Darrell Jones. You know, a lot of brothers I don't get to see as often. Right, I don't get to see as often, but they doing what they doing. But I don't look at what they're doing now. I'm looking at what they did in crunch time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when Chuck Turner was the originator of dealing with me to come and start that community program through Darrell Jones. You don't always get to give those accolades back. So on such a platform that I know is for our community, those accolades are actually true. You know what I mean? That's why I'm always bringing up the Minister Randy, you know, it's so many of them, you know, Pastor Dixon and so on. But Brother Fuquan.
Randy of the Nation.
Yes.
Okay, short guy.
Minister Randy, yeah.
Okay.
Big guy.
He does a lot of work.
Looks short.
You look short, but big guy got the glasses.
Yeah. When I say big guy. Big guy.
Big
heart.
You
know what I mean? Big heart, big mind.
He does a lot of work.
Does a lot of work, and he's not playing about the work. But Fuquan, me, M1, all of us, that circle, we worked collectively together, you know what I mean, to change a lot of things in the community. We did a lot of things that people out here don't know, you know, and they know because it's in every newspaper, but in that time, they're not really grasping who is doing this, you know what I mean, who is doing this work. And not only do we do a lot of work, but his woman, Haja, his family, his mother, they're beautiful people, and I've known them since he's come in. And that brother is not the culprit. You understand what I'm telling you? And we have our circle. That's why it's not everybody say you innocent. That brother not only deserves his freedom, because there's a thing you deserve. You take something from someone, they deserve to have that back. Right. We don't get that back. He's not going to get his life back.
How long he's been down for?
Fuquan, wow. You know what? I don't even want to misstate the number.
Okay, but a long time.
We passed the 16s and all that. You know what I mean? Okay. And you know, my brother Fuquan, he doesn't just deserve the freedom. He is needed on this side. Yeah. You know what I mean? When God prepares a spirit that's ready for this side, that has done so much from the inside and continue to do so much, and is actually taking brothers inside, you know, you can call them gang members, whatever you want to call them, and converting that energy into positive energy where they all doing positive things. No one's acknowledging that. It's the same as out here. So I brought my T-shirt because I said we're going to bring up my brother, and I want them to see a face, a visual. I don't like talking about him all the time without a visual. And that is Brother Fuquan.
Yeah, let's hold it up. Put point it at the camera. You know what I'm saying?
That is the brother for
Free him.
Free him. You know what I mean? I wanna
Does
put
he
a face to that.
does he currently have a life sentence?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know what I mean? And his family deserve it. His mother deserve it. You know, we get older, we lose. I lost most of my family while I was gone. So my grandmother that primarily raised me, they're all gone. You know what I mean? They're all gone. And so when I look at these brothers and I be like, their mothers and them are still out here waiting on them. You know what I mean? Their people still care about them.
Right.
Time doesn't work. This program right here, Know Our Smoke, at the AAC. AAC is the program that we built, man, and been there and worked on, and Mac Hudson, you know what I mean? Like this program right here with the participants of the community, this thing was built for this. Know Your Smoke was him teaching all of the young boys in there to actually identify your smoke. We look at our smoke with each other. He was identifying
He's
for
saying
you.
know who the real enemy is.
Know who your real enemy is, right? So just imagine, and that campaign in there has converted many brothers. And then I go, not only does he deserve it because you've done him wrong, and his family deserve it, but he's needed for you and you don't even know. He's in your calling. Okay. You understand that?
Yeah.
So I really want people to look into that. I want you to think about it, and I want you to understand that if you don't know who he is, like you didn't know who I was, if you don't know who he is, it's incumbent upon you to learn who he is because he is in prison, Commonwealth versus Ricky McGee. Yeah. Commonwealth. That means we have responsibility to at least acknowledge who is in prison in our name.
Right.
Give him that benefit.
Right.
Absolutely.
You understand that? So that I wanted to make sure people understood that this one is personal to me. Right. You understand that? Right. This is personal to me because I not only know, me vouching, that doesn't do anything. These people, they're not going to just be like, I said he's a good dude. I'm saying, look at the case, look at the homework on the case, and then look at what he produced of himself through his suffrage.
Right.
You understand that? He's not in there talking about he's hurt or anything. He's in there saying this is what we got to do to survive. When you talk about doing good for people, I knew just what you meant. There's a way of doing good and we can do good wrong. A lot of people that we put in position to say good, they do good, but they do good wrong because they don't want to involve what they call bad.
Right.
But through that experience, you can't be greater than Allah, who dealt with bad and good. Moses, as a prophet, had actually killed the man, and he was the one chosen to guide you out of it.
Right.
You understand that? Harriet Tubman, when we deal with racism and all that, man, I don't be playing none of those games because what I understand in my life was turned over to the white man, and I know exactly what he was doing with it. But I don't identify that as white people. I just take people as right and wrong people. And the reason I'm identifying that because my brother's freedom doesn't just mean we're going to say it's the black cause. It was used in all of our names. And I want people of other races and things to know that they have involved you. And since you're involved, you have responsibility as well.
Right.
You understand that? And the reason I identified them differently as right and wrong people because I seen what we identify as white people. They had my life 32 years. They did the same slave stuff they did, but Harriet Tubman was smart enough to know on that Underground Railroad, there were many white people that were the stops for us.
Right.
They were the hideouts. You understand? It's like music is the hideout. A lot of artists are making music and doing things. I'm working now with cannabis, and all of us, we doing our thing, you know what I mean? Shout out to Cali Ranks Cannabis, just the whole the whole tribe. It's, we're doing this Femi music thing, and I'm using music as that outlet as well. You know what I mean? With various artists. I'm working now, trying to with Arrested Development. It's all in that circle, K-Solo, because the music can do a lot. It's just like with Kanye and them coming out and saying, we're going to say something about Larry Hoover, Kim Kardashian doing what she's doing. But actually it has to be a real life experience to make people understand why you need to have a feeling about the case, not just a campaign. Yeah. Campaigns go away. Right. We have Black Lives Matter, and as soon as that sun came out, I call us winter marchers, right? Meaning that we do it when it's time to do it. You know what I mean? We can say we can deal with it for a minute, but when that sun come out, you haven't seen last summer, you didn't see 1,000 marches. Even during this time here, are you hearing Black Lives Matter every single day?
Not at all.
We create slogans behind our movement. We don't put people in place who move our movement. Like just the places are made to be moved. Our movement is supposed to be moving. It's like the Dr. Martin Luther King thing. I look at that thing totally different. I go, don't put my brother in a situation where all his intelligence and everything that he can provide to the community and everything he can give, do not put him in a situation where you have a day where his family has to honor him like we honor Martin Luther King Jr. And we say, yeah, we honor that day, when in reality, we never woke up to dream. And if you were in a dream that didn't wake up, you are actually in a coma. Martin Luther King movement is in a coma. We still talking about he had a dream. When the hell did the dream wake up? I want my brother's dream to wake up. And I want other brothers in there and sisters as well that are there to be able to say, okay, cool, I'll take the backlash, but I'm gonna make some noise and some flack to be able to let them know you're there. Now, after that, they're gonna want this super intelligence to come. They want me to articulate words as long as I can get them to sound reputable enough to say, deal with me. And I'm going, it really can't work that way.
Right.
It's gonna take some vocal, because for our folks, it's always gonna take some vocal. And you might not like what I say, but I'm gonna be sure that you know what I meant. That's why I'm doing the bad boy a good talk, because I wanna ensure you know what I meant. The same way with Ro, when she's doing this, you might not like the delivery, but if your package is right and it ain't broken, you ain't got a problem with that. Right. You understand? I might not like where that mailman threw my stuff at, but when I open it, what I'm concerned with is that my stuff ain't wet inside, it's working. And what she's delivering and what we're trying to all deliver, it's working. Yeah. You understand that? And we're hoping that it can work for everybody. You know what I mean? And it's enough of us doing that. You know, Brother Toot, you know, look at what they doing. You know what I mean? Look, just look at that whole movement. Shout out to Toot. You know what I mean? Joseph Bennett. You know, look at what they doing with the Yard Time Entertainment. You could take it one way and like it's a jail thing. Brothers are doing different things, and that is a concern for me. That is a part of why I primarily myself got in tune and said, hey, I'm behind and we're gonna do this Gangsta Gone Legit, because what has happened out here, no one knows how to count our success. All we talk about in reentry is who failed, and look at the numbers and look at how many went back to jail, and then it starts all over again. Mm-hmm. We are not counting out in this community how many barbershops are owned by people that were priorly incarcerated, how many beauty salons, how many businesses. There are a lot of, how many brothers are working in different offices from the mayor office down like I was, how many brothers are putting in the work and sisters are putting in the work that were in my situation, that run organizations, that are doing things. It is time for this government, where we are and everywhere, to start accounting those of us that are doing it right, that are trying to do something, and then taking that knowledge and say, well, how come Rose able to do this? The DOC we ain't helping her. We had her all our life, but we didn't help her get this program. We didn't help her talk. We didn't help her get anything she got. Why is she able to do that versus the other guy that failed? Then you should have her in a room and you should actually be saying, let me learn from you. Right. Why all these businesses success? Why you been out on parole 30 years, 15 years, 40 years, and haven't went back one time? Right. Those are case studies to find the successors. And that's what GGL for me, and that's what doing the innocent, convicts is about, right? Is because I'm trying to say, let's identify our value. We're out here. We're not going to let them keep saying we've been in the prison. I don't identify with being your prisoner. Right. You see what I'm saying? You house my body, but not my soul. I don't identify. So I come off different because I don't identify. Right. I've seen what you've done to my other brothers that are hurt and going through everything. They have to always express that you did something to them. Right. I get it. You did something to me too, but in that time I was doing something with me while you were doing something to me. There's a difference. And I always say that you may see that a certain way, but I go, come on. The resume speaks for itself if you call for one. And the people that get called up, there's a lot of events that go on. They're actually set up that way, not to have certain people there. There are events that I'll see people on platforms talking, and I'll go, now this community knows Romelda's over there. They know I'm there. They know this person there. They know Toots there. They know. Too boisterous in the message, right? Yo, ain't nobody tone the mess. They make outlets. When I came home, I realized I'm not the other cat. I realized that they set up on platforms where you can build your own platforms, right? And you can do it yourself. Right. I advise everybody that really want to say what they got to say and got a voice, and then you'll find out who's following, who not, and you deal with it to get you a platform, because the other people are orchestrated for them. They're tools. You understand? They use us as their tools. Like, if I got a little shine, a little light, of course, they'll mind coming to get me and cut and roll out like we'll do it with you. We'll put some grant money behind you. We'll do this right here. But, okay, Romel it'll be a little too loud. Darrell be a little too loud. Joseph Bennett going to be a little too loud. He come with a big, big story. Yo, we our own hood report. We're our own hood report. That's exactly, when I had a little what's up thing, I had a section called the hood report. And that's what I was doing. I was writing about everything I heard, what's going on in the joint as the hood report. We need to be having our hood report section.
Ghetto report.
Where it goes directly, real life information to our people.
And that's this right here.
Because we have to have our own platforms. So now what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, I realize certain platforms ain't gonna want to work together, right? And there's different deliveries in that. So I'm going, okay, as Huey P. Newton would have done, or anybody that was moving, bring the movers over where we at. You dig what I'm saying? So if you're moving where we at on a Not in My Name movement, if you're moving, you know, under the Femi thing with the music, participate, because that music is an avenue. That's why I'm bringing that up. It's a voice, it's vocal. It's what we used in slavery. It's how Harriet Tubman knew where to get what she got, because slaves were somewhere beating on drums.
So
you feel me?
before we cut off.
So we got to beat our drums.
So before we cut off, real quick. So tell us.
We got 3 minutes.
All right. So tell us, how do we, first, how did you come home? You know, how did you come home, right? Because we have different things.
Jennifer McKim helped out?
Yeah, Jennifer McKim, right? You know,
was it a new trial or?
Yeah, I took it all away. So it's a difference in this innocence. I'm not saying the next person wouldn't be, but I'm saying that, you know, like my brother Toot and various ones, you can take it back to them. My thing was, you had me my whole life, and then you want to break some bread small. It take a minute to get to it. I was already at risk my whole life from 18, from Walpole on. My life has always been at risk. You put it at risk. So my thing was, I'm not making no deals. I had every deal possible. Even before I went to jail, I was offered 6 to 8, which means I would have only did 4 years. I would never take the deal then. So in the end, I wouldn't take the deal. Like, let's put this aside and we can negotiate. And no, I want a new trial. I want it. I understood that from the jail on. Everybody was saying he's crazy. Man, this dude crazy. What is he doing? Why would he fight them and force himself to be back on the trial and beef with them and not make no deals? That's why he's in there from the first. He didn't take the first deal.
So you got found.
Principles.
Yeah.
Principle. And my principles stood. It worked out for me, right? No matter what the suffrage was, it worked out for me. I was bigger than that moment. You're bigger than that moment. The people out here that's doing what we doing, we bigger than that moment, man. You understand that? So I was able to transfer that energy, which comes right back to here. I found my self-worth, and in this instance, the worth is being able to say something about where we've been.
So not guilty.
Yeah,
not guilty. And then
guilty directly. So that's full exoneration. There is no question.
Did
I
they
put
have
it back to a
another
whole
trial?
nother jury.
Because I read something.
That's what we're talking about now. I actually went back to trial. They wanted to do it so bad, so you actually see the videos from the trailer, me telling them, you want to retrial? Let's go.
No,
I went back to trial.
Let me you got found not guilty,
right?
And then they tried again or something like that. I'm like, how did?
No, bro. I'm already in prison 32 years.
No. I know that part,
right.
But I was reading something again. It said they found you not guilty, and then you went. They try to retry you on something else, another murder. Or something.
No, that is the re-guilty.
Okay.
I'm in prison.
No, I know that.
Right.
Yeah.
But the part you're not understanding is that I'm in prison. While I'm in prison, I overturned my case. Because of all these things, I had juror corruption, everything. Racism in the juror. One of the jurors came forward, brought the other one. The judge had to call them all in. I got the video cut up. I'm the only person since 1967 to sit in the prison docket during the whole trial. Never even talked to my lawyer, while my lawyer sat a car and a half length away, and they conducted my trial. You see serial killers sitting next to their lawyers. I wasn't even part of mine. You understand it? But the bottom line is, I'm in prison. I overturned it on all these issues. Now I'm home. Same way my brother Joseph and others are home. I didn't have the bracelet in that because I had a lot of factual stuff. So I never had a curfew. I never had any of that type of stuff. But brothers be out here on that and sisters. Then they're going to make the deal. Like, you're going to see that sometime it happens. They're going to say, okay, rather than go back to trial, rather than cop out the trial, take this time served, and then you can sue, whatever you're going to do. They work on every kind of angle. My thing was, no, I want a new trial. So I'm beefing. We're going to have a new trial. I had a new trial because that, for me, was full exoneration. Meaning I took it right back to where you started. I put it right back in front of 12 of your people, and now y'all knew what you did. I want to see all that stuff said again. I want to see all those witnesses. I want to see this. And we did that, and that was not guilty. That's my full exoneration, thus being home.
And then you also had in your case, it's something that I know, and we had to talk about, but one of the women that told in your case, she was set up by the police. And, well, the police got her to set you up, work against you and paid her to say whatever they wanted. The police used her to take my life, you know what I mean? Right,
and
there you go.
Drugs helped her in doing it.
There you go.
And sadly, you know what I mean, she's not on just one case.
What?
You understand that? Sadly.
I didn't know that.
She's
and I know this person.
Case. So these things, this is what I'm saying. And so people look at me crazy because we were in certain programs and I come and she's there and whatever it is. Let me explain to you. And of course, this person is the primary witness that they're using to put me away. But as I always said to her and her family, right, this is how I look at it. Sure, I understand the hood prep. I get the idea. The concept is like, yo, you know what? You did that to me, right? This is the know you smoke. I'm gonna deal with that. Right, I'm never gonna, would you even near me? Like you wanna take a picture, you wanna talk because they called you back and you're trying to straighten it now? My perception of that is different. My perception is your ignorance was your ignorance then, and they could make use of it. You're not the only one they're gonna make use of. But when you become an adult, it's time for you too to start speaking on that truth. That's my issue. That's been my only issue. I can tolerate that, but you should be speaking, or you should get her on here and talk to her. Yeah. The programs are working with that person.
Right.
You understand? So now you should be saying, this is what we got on board.
Right.
And what are we talking to you about? Like, let's get to the real fact.
Yeah.
Are you going to come out now and really talk?
Right. Is she trying to rectify all the other stuff?
Bro, I haven't, I'm going to leave that to this. I'm going to actually leave that to this. I think I've been more than kind. I think I've been fair. I've been around our family and everything you said you believe. You know it wasn't me. It's time, again, I keep saying, for you to go on that platform and rectify so that we can get all the things we need to know, how they worked it on you, what they did.
Right.
Because I'm not out here running the mad. It might look stupid to anybody else. Let me tell you short. I want to tell dudes one thing, and I want to be clear about this. We come from a community, and I really want to end on this note. We come from a community, that's what kind of know your smoke is. We come from a community where the main thing that can damage a young brother or a young sister trying to grow up in the hood is that they took a short, so to speak. Somebody dissed them, somebody did something to them, you took a short.
Right.
You understand? That's the main thing that can happen to us, you took a short. So we have to address that. Ro hit my car, and then she was supposed to pay, she don't, that's a short.
Yeah.
Dude disrespect you, call you out your name, it's short.
Yeah.
You gotta handle that. That's how we designed everything. Then I go, it's really amazing to me that the biggest short all of us took, every gangster in this community has taken, is them throwing us in the joint and treating us like they did, and they still living out here in the communities right where we went to prison. The guards are still going shopping right around you, everybody that done gas brothers, sick dogs on them and everything. What about that short?
Yeah, that's a major short.
What about that short when they took you, your mother died and you sitting in that prison, right? And your brother got shot and you couldn't go to his funeral and this happened and that happened and you forgetting the biggest short we took? Or they locked your man, they fooled somebody's man and your boys, he's a gang leader, he's your man, and you know they gave him more time and they did something. All we doing is talking about it? Mentioning it in a rap song? We can find thousands of rap songs where they be like, my dude up north, he was the chef. We can find all that. What did you do about it? Right. You actually made it to a position where you got some clout, you can say some things loud. What did you do about it? You understand that? Where was the pressure? Where was the response? Those are my concerns. Yeah. Those are my concerns. The short, you can register me right now for taking a whole bunch of shorts. I might hear a lot of stuff. I see how people play it. I see the programs that'll go. I see when the invites come, when they don't. I see how they go. I know how I was being used. I know when. I know we need to make some noise and call up Darrell Jones. He come down here. He come down here. Yeah, come out. You take pictures with me. When I look at anybody that ever took a picture with me and I go, the short that'll be taken, you're really not making a mockery of me at all. You're making a mockery of you. Because if you took time to be in pictures with me over and over and over again and be seen with me, and then you somewhere else backbiting, trying to keep me off this strab of getting to your little chump change or your grants or whatever shine there is, bro, my shine don't have nothing to do with the average man's shine. My shine is a light that actually I'm using for something I want to do. You understand it? And who I can help and what I can do. And it's exhausting. It takes a lot of time, bro. I see it in myself. I see it in my face. I see me tired. I came home and started that. The papers, the movement, the videos, your Facebook will tell you what I came home and done. I wasn't already out here and then jumped on and started making noise. A lot of people not understanding that. You can play that role, but I wasn't already out here for years and then a movement happened and I slide in and then now all of a sudden I'm the movement. Yeah. I came home doing that and I was doing that from the joint, and that's why I said it is gonna come time to put up those resumes. You can't hire the right people. To all you leaders out here, you can front on our people. You always been designing our leaders and you always been designing who can speak. Right. Even at a small time job at Kentucky Fried Chicken, they want some kind of resume. You know why they ain't asking for no resume? They ain't really going back saying, okay, this dude say he do all this to that person. What you do in the joint? Did you ever build anything? What did you really do to come out and be able to say, I'm gonna put this brother in charge or I'm gonna make him the face of something that he can't even damn explain? You understand that? And we do that for ourselves. Just because my man is the #1 killer in the neighborhood and he's the illest dude, I'm allowing him to misuse himself, because if he's got that much control, there is value out here for us. You understand that there's things we can piece ourselves. There's a lot of money. You want to know the criminal justice system? All the people that are telling us about it or read it from our lives have studied it from our lives. But if we took control of that ourselves with our lives, you'll be getting that money directly.
Yeah.
Because we have a service too we provide. We provide in our lives. We provide correction. We're waking up children, waking up families. That is a service. We got a service too. Help assist in that service so we get on more platforms to try to work with these kids, our people, not only prevent somebody from going in, damn sure pull somebody that's been there too long.
Yeah,
and it ain't just prison. When people associate it like that's a prison issue, I'm really not into prison, I'm into something else. Let me explain something to you. Everything is prison. People out here don't even know they're in prison because they don't see their wall. Prison is the same thing you just went through under a different name, COVID. Okay. You know, in them little times when everybody's out here stressing because you couldn't go to the club you wanted to go to, you got to wear a mask, you got to do all these things you're fighting about, right? All these little things that are happening to you, and in a year, 2 time, everybody's breaking, going crazy. They can't handle it. We ain't wearing a mask. They'll kill you behind it. And I'm going, your little 2 years of suffrage of that is everyday years suffrage for us doing that. Under direction. Somebody stopped your play for a minute. Somebody stopped ours for 30, 40, 50 years. Period. There's a difference. Let that difference come out. Do not try to, you won't use me to do that. I see it wouldn't happen with Ro. You're going to have a hard time with that, with Toot. You know what I mean? Like the ones I know that just still got it in us, right? You're going to have a hard time if your idea is to come in front of the people and you want me to sit there and go, woe is me, and this is what happened. And, right. Then what I'm really expressing is how well you were at traumatizing me, not how I fought back. And I need to be able to show my people how I fought back and why I was able to survive it and why I feel like I feel now. Right. That's the gift, right? We gotta take that space, and you're gonna have competition. You're gonna have people, you know, that we call hating or whatever they're doing. It's not. All you can tell yourself is, I'm really trying to do the best and the benefit. If something goes off, something goes a little wrong, try to understand I'm trying to do something that I never done in innocent because I was gone away. You know what I mean? So my delivery is going to be different. The actions I might take, the mistakes I may make are brand new, just like a child, right? I'm going to make those. If you want me to do better, be better for me. Yeah. Give me some jewels that I might not know out here. Show me how to work the board.
But they're not going to do that.
You don't have it set up for that. And then you got me so distant from my people, right, that if I bring up my brother Fu, or I bring me up, or I bring up Romeldo, or I bring up some other brother or sister that's in jail, you're looking more at, like, who is you to really say it? Who is that person to really say it? Where's your authenticity from the street? And I'm going, we're in the street, bro. We're in the street. I'll tell you one note. You give me a name right now, I challenge, give me a name right now. I know some of the illest dudes. I never wanted to be the illest dude. I wanted to be smarter, and I got that. I wanted to be spiritually better. I got that. That's who I am, right? But I can take the realest dude out here, and you can put 13 bodies on him, and the whole hood respect him. But let me explain something to you about that credit card. I've seen it work in jail. That same dude that will have that rep that everybody know, his same boys won't be sending money. Right. The girls still won't be visiting him. Yeah. You still be the illest dude. And the whole point is he can't call from jail and be like, he can't tell his own daughter, I couldn't tell this young lady over here. He can't use his rep, meaning, hey, listen, where you at? Yeah, daughter, I'm in jail forever, but yeah, I killed 70 dudes. I'm the illest in this jail and out. But go there and tell him ill Doug. When his daughter go to Walmart and put all that stuff on the counter and she go, my father's ill Doug. Right in your own community, they're gonna be like, I don't know nothing about that. The price is. Right. The price is, we're building credit cards we can't use. Yeah. We can only use them to fear each other, to mess around with each other. Like, yo, from Bowdoin is, and from over here is, we can only do that, right? You can't. Among each other, but we can't cash it in nowhere where it matters. Don't. So who the hell wants to, any longer in life, have the reputation I can't cash in? You understand that? Biden and them are cashing in. The people that are running your life, that are in these positions, they got life insurance, they got everything that come with it, and they gonna get, what do you call it, retirement? They gonna get all, they can cash that in. Brothers that didn't put the work in did not know, sisters, and are in jail and been in jail 60, 40 years. Bro, that credit card only cashes towards death. Yeah. It's a card, the only credit card we have designed for ourselves is one that says, yo, you know who I am, and then you make a decision. You ain't from my block. I don't really like you. My man said about you. Somebody else said, you're not on my list, right? That's the credit card we got.
And
Like, how do I want to make you real? Do I want to make you real?
Right.
If not, you the sucker.
Right. Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The sucker is anybody willing to accept the biggest short of our lives, that someone could take us, and we're not going to talk back to that system, that someone could take us, put us in prison, and then you can take my grandma away, you could take my bro away, and then tell me I can't go to their funeral. You could do all this trauma to me, and I'm going to sit back and accept it. Someone else may say, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go bust, I'm going to go wild. Listen, stop daydreaming what you're going to do. You know why? Because, and I'm going to say it, that's the facts. When I was going to court, just like everybody else, I was in the back of that court car waving at dudes that I knew. Like when you come through Roxbury, you all the way from the jail that I already been in 20, but you got to go to court for something, right? You seeing your man, he's in the jail right around the corner. Is you busting? You got a whole crew. Some dudes are leaving. Are you riding up there like, get my man out? No. So we got to use our intelligence. Neither am I. Not going to do that. That's not going to work. We know that. They're going to send every force they got the same way we would have marched on that Capitol. They're going to send every force they got. But what they don't like, they don't mind. No Negroes that's just going to be like, we'll negotiate that. What I understand, the mathematics behind the science is the life's equation. They can handle all that. Great interview, great story. Now put a little passion. Huh? What do you want me to do? Why are they making you? Yeah, we want you to not hit the sack. I was really crushed in prison that day. You know, like my whole life is messed up. They really, really destroyed me. I get that. What's wrong with you going on somebody else's show? What's wrong with me rocking somebody else's gear? Yo, I'm just branding us.
Right.
Not Adidas and next. I'm just trying to brand us.
Right. Black-owned businesses.
One of the things I can tell you, I took all the articles, right, of Adidas, because I emailed them and I started a dialogue. I took all the articles because my son was wearing Adidas, and I looked at all the articles of all the brothers that got shot and killed and covered up and being brought out of houses, and I just wanted every picture from the newspaper. So when I was in jail, I just started collecting them of what they had on their feet. And when I realized it was all Adidas, I turned around. When I came home, I said, somebody got to tell me what Adidas ever gave back. We've represented them all our life. Since Run DMC, we've been representing them. Running them got a little dough from that. What did Adidas give back? Are they sponsors for this show? We're doing the right thing. We're saying something. So you should be contacting them too, saying, when did we get anything? My brother, my sister, my cousin, we wore you to death. What are you going to do to help us provide some more life? We got to call these places that we represent from night on that we buying their things. We got to call them into accountability, say, yo, support this side too.
Right.
You understand that?
Definitely.
We need everybody, but the primary thing we need is to understand us. And not that just talking about learning me.
But that's
I'm talking
the thing,
about us.
though, right? That's the thing with, and we're gonna leave it on that note. But like, that's the thing with Adidas, with other companies as big as that, right? Criminal justice reform is cool. It's popping now. Meek's out. They got Reform Alliance. Bob Kraft touched it, right? Jay-Z and them started something. So now it's cool to talk about. So,
Right.
but if you notice, they stuck on Meek's situation and just talking about Meek's story. But we all know hundreds and thousands of brothers and sisters that are Meek, right? I was a Meek Mill before Meek because I'm older than him.
Right.
And you got, and I know 50 other women that are in my situation at the time, but I don't see them going back and touching other Meek Mills to bring them along. So that's something that we need to do more.
That's on us, and I'll end on that note. That is what I've been talking about. What I'm saying is I see it, I feel it, I know where the arenas are going to be, I know what's going on, I see the game, I see the math,
Right.
You know what I mean? I was young, I had games, so I try to correct that. You try to change you to use it in a better way. So when you're really aware, I know that mirror. I lived in that mirror. A whole bunch of us did. So I'm familiar with what's happening. But in this time right now, we're not going to be able to count on anybody to do that.
Right.
We can't look at it. It is a limelight game. And the limelight game is who we put in the limelight.
Right.
So Meek Mill's not responsible for that.
No.
But once he got the light, what he's responsible is turning it, shining it
Right.
on somebody else. You understand that?
Shout out to him too, because he
Yeah.
helped free a couple brothers
Right.
as well
Right.
too.
Right.
So
Right.
But and I'm not talking about Meek himself because he's only just one person. And just like you know, whatever. But like, I'm talking about that whole organization and movement.
You talking about share the wealth. You talking about share the wealth.
No, I'm
Let
talking
that little
about
guy speak.
I'm talking about the movement that came behind him.
Right.
For them, not Meek, because Meek knows. Meek comes from Philly, so he knows 50 other Meek Mills, right? Situations like that. But I'm talking about the movement that came behind Meek, the mark,
it was Meek.
the mark, the crafts, the whatever, right? But there's other Meeks, and they need to get behind those.
And what I'm saying is, until those of us that know that, know that there is a group of people, right, women and men, that you see me out innocent, you might see me, various others, whatever, then you have to think about who you're not seeing, like my brother James Watson and other good brothers who are not there. Ramos, you know, there's different ones that came out innocent too, that's suffering different. You're not hearing them, you haven't, no one's talking them, people are using them for limelight. You dig what I'm saying? Like me, it's a get and go. It don't affect me at all. If I feel like I help somebody and I'm doing something, and then you do something different and your buddy say something, I'm happy with that, because I go, I'm done what I'm doing, I'm on to something next. That's my motto.
Right.
But at the same time, Meek got that following because he has something. Most of our people respond to have something, right? You're gonna get a little kid from that corner quicker with a candy bar than you is talking about take this medicine.
Right.
So it's on us to hold that flag up and say, yo, we out here for the little voices.
Right.
We out here for the dark.
Yeah.
We out here for the people that's in the dark for real. They can keep the light, because the limelight don't mean that it shuts down every day. The president got all the limelight, but he's smart enough. Our people, we won't do it. He's smart enough to let everybody play their role. What's your role? Well, let's qualify for our roles, right? He's smart enough, because when the president gets up and he got to talk about finance or something particular, you can be sure he knows enough to be like, let me call up Jared. He's the president. He can say everything. He doesn't, right? Because he knows there's a time. We need different voices that we can say, that's your role, you're best at that, and they're going to understand you best. A lot of people just want what they think you got, I got. They think they just want to shine. Not knowing if they go do your resume and be like, if I want to shine, man, I don't own a magazine. I done been with everybody I want to be with. I done had radio stations from jail. And that's shine. If I want to shine, I expose the life I already lived and where I already been and everything else. I wouldn't come back where I got to deal with all the nonsense, the hate. I'm coming back into that fire. You're coming back into that fire. So we're coming back into that fire till the job's done. You know what I mean? No matter what happens. And I'm confident that some of our people going to come forward, bro. Just like your show on, right? This is an opportunity. This is an event. I'm honored to be here, because I understand what you're trying to do and what you're going to do. And it doesn't matter what the other side said. The future belongs to those who see it first, bro. Keep your eyes open. If you see it, go for it. Everything else in the middle, they got all these slogans for what a hater is. And all I look at it is go, he's really can't be a hater. You really can't be a hater, because when you got something that's in you, you can express a feeling towards a person, but hate takes knowledge. Real hate takes knowledge, not information from other people or how you feel. Hate takes your own knowledge to be able to say, I want to talk to Romelda myself. And then you go ahead and get your hate on. But hate with knowledge, we got people that just, what we call hate is just oblivious. That's people that are unaware, right? They don't even know how to hate. So don't always look at them as haters. Just look at them like, I don't understand you. And I can get that. I can look at me and say, I see why you don't understand me. I see you don't understand her. We come from a place, an environment for too long that you're not familiar with. And our expressions are different. What can rile us up is different. Our tones are different, because we spent our whole life having to react to everything. But pay attention to what we're talking about, what we know, and what our hearts really are, and why we're here. Nobody wants to be, no man's a prophet in his own land. And Dolph, right? Dolph is an example of that. You understand that? Nipsey is an example of that. Everybody we lose. Most people are dying in their own communities. The reason why it says no man is a prophet in his own land in the Bible is because every time Jesus came back home, although he was known all over as Jesus, every time he came back home, he was only known as the carpenter's son, Joseph's son. They would not refer to him as Jesus, no matter what magical, whatever he was doing. They were like, you're Joseph's son. There are people out here that always want to say to us, you're just the carpenter's daughter. You're just that person when you're home. So it takes a lot to be home, especially when we all are aware that everybody home is where you're most hated. Don't expect to be a prophet at home. Just expect to do your job.
Right.
Do your job. Bill
Well,
Belichick.
on that note, thank you, Darrell Jones. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and yourself.
Thank you.
We definitely got to touch bases again, because we ain't get it everything we need to get. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot, but it's like talking to you. I felt like man, there's more we need to get. You know what I'm saying? You got more information, more knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So we might have to do like
bring you back.
Yeah, 3 more shows. You know what I'm saying?
We fam. We're gonna be doing this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show up for her, right? No matter what. But I know what she's showing up for.
Right.
I'm gonna show up for you. I'm gonna show up for the brother that's doing it here because I know what you're showing up for.
Right.
I know
Thank you for showing up.
You heard?
You know what I'm saying? Thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Respect.
So everybody check out the brother.
I want to say this too.
Ricky McGee.
Yeah, free brother Ricky McGee.
Yes, Fuquan.
Fuquan. And it was.
And know your smoke.
Know your smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What you said though was kind of big too when you said like we say that's a short. That's a short. Like, you know, and in our community we do that a lot. You know what I'm saying? We force motherfuckers to go commit a crime.
Right.
Because we say we get on them and like, that's a short.
Right.
Like and it's like I can't say that to you and have you go commit a crime. That's gonna be on me. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I encourage that.
One thing I learned too, and it's like I was
you gotta let go, man.
But the biggest short is our kids. That's why I'm saying, listen, you took a short that affected your kids. Like, the average dude in the community, check this out. When he's busting at you,
I told you that, bro.
Or he disrespected you.
I said, yo, Ro, you guys let some shit go because Ro, at the end of the day, if you're not there for Kiki or Raquel, you're losing.
That's knowing your worth.
That's more important. I'm like, fuck that, your worth. No matter how crazy she get. Did I not tell you that a couple times? I'm like, yo, bro, I understand what you're saying. I might not do the right thing in your shoes either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I got to be the voice of reason. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
No, you got to be what you called to be, and that's why you operate in that way. You are the voice. So you don't have to be. You are that. It's destined for you, bro.
Right.
You wouldn't do it otherwise. The same equipment and stuff costs money to do, just like setting these up. You could have went and bought you a shake and got on the highway and been in Florida yourself.
Right.
These are the things. This is applicable to your people, and it's what you want to do.
Right.
There's many shows out here, right? And most of those shows will get a lot more than you got because what they really going to end up doing on those shows, they have what you want to call political connects, right? Or whatever, and they bring somebody on that brings the shine. What I'm saying is if you can bring a regular person on, what you want to call a regular person, if you can bring somebody on that's suffering that nobody knows about, that's actually a show to me. If you need a bunch of people that got limelight to have on the show to make the show, then that's the same way as I say money. When we look at a dude in the hood that got that Ferrari, or we look at a chick in the hood that got that Benz, and I see the stores and all that, this is what I go. I'm not amazed for one reason, no matter what life will bring my way or not. I learned the value of money in that prison. I'm not amazed for one reason, because I go, if it was about money, everything Jay-Z got, if it was about money making you, and I could strip you out of everything, would you still be the same person? If I could put you in something else and throw you downtown homeless looking, would you still be talking to somebody and they still see the value in you?
Right.
You understand that? All of that stuff right there is the makeup. You know why it's the makeup? Because how could Dr. Dre get this far, Jay-Z get this far, and they have all the money? That's what we watch. Everybody's money, like they making money. You know, they got big money. They doing big things. When actually somebody could play the number and the poorest person in the world can hit that lottery and have everything Jay-Z got tomorrow and more. For one of them big jackpots. You understand that? So what I'm saying is if money is what make us, you just hit the lottery. You dig what I'm saying? And you hit a different lottery than I'm really trying to hit, bro. I'm playing the numbers. I'm playing them high. I'm trying to get better. But the only lottery I'm trying to hit is the love lottery, bro. More love for myself, more love for my people, and more love for doing the right thing. I'm trying to hit the love lottery. That's the only one.
The love
I got
lottery.
That from my dad, you know what I mean? Reverend William May Barry. Because my
Shout
father and my
William.
dad, two different individuals, but that's who gave me that. You know what I mean? And I
Shout
learned
out to them.
Yep.
Right. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Ghetto Report podcast.
Ghetto Report, and if you're looking for Darrell, you can always find him at innocentconvicts.org.
Yeah, the innocentconvicts.org, or you can hit up now, you know what I mean?
Or Twitter.
Femi Music, Twitter. I love Twitter.
What's
know
your
what I mean?
Twitter?
What is my Twitter? I never know it off my
Oh,
head.
man, we put it up.
Listen,
we don't know the Twitter.
I know Femi, the strategist, right? You know what I mean? Like all the technology part, the same way the
got
brother
Instagram?
gonna film and do all that. I got Instagram. I barely even use
Facebook.
You know, I've been at Facebook, right? I got the Facebook under my name.
Boom, I got it. It's
I know you ain't got TikTok.
Darrell,
I hope you ain't got TikTok.
DARRELL 6475504.
Say that again. Say that again. I was
Is that
cutting you off.
hold on?
Say that
Is
again. I
that
was
your
cutting you
prison
off.
number?
I don't know why I got a number. You set up. You
put
put
no
me on
prison
Twitter.
number. I didn't put
I
no
was like,
prison
why do I
number.
got numbers and just not a name like everybody else got? Slick Rick at, and I'm like, why do I got to be all
Oh,
these
she didn't give you
numbers?
something smooth, but say that again because I was cutting you
At
off.
Darrell W. No, sir.
Spell it up.
At Darrell DARRELL 647550043.
What is all them numbers though, bro?
I don't know. I didn't do
You
that.
took pride earlier.
Rose
look,
traumatized. I think
she took pride
that's her
earlier.
prison
Letting you
number.
know
But
she
I don't
set up
know
my
how-
Twitter, right?
I don't know how
But
the number came about.
You know how you really gonna find me, right? I hope. You know how you're gonna find me? Just probably saying you willing to fight to do your good as well and respect my fight, and then we're gonna find each other anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not how you measure my fight and how I measure your fight, but can we fight together like them Ukrainians have to do? They probably lived over there forever in buildings next to each other, never spoke. Right now they in it. Can we get in it? Right now we at war.
Pray for Ukraine.
Can we get in it? Pray for Ukraine. We actually making a song. I'm actually doing a song. It's called All My People Come Out of the Dark, right? And it's for everything that people suffered, right? Everything that they suffered. The idea, even for the video, is just to be walking down the street and see, I don't care if they were gay, what they went through, I don't care what their situation was, to bring them out of that dark. Like to have an anthem to be able to say, come on out of this dark.
All right, come out the dark.
You know what I mean? Come out the dark
Shout out
because
to you
we
for
know
that.
we in the dark.
And,
Thank you again, Darrell. And again, we look forward to hearing more of everything you have to say. This is the Ghetto Report podcast. Check us out and look us up.
peace.
Peace.
I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray. Gotta make it out some